is the Big O Show. This 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 is...
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house! Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business, car key replacements, and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
Sports Grill on Bird Road, Miami Lakes, and their newest location in Doral is now hiring. If you're looking to join a great company and South Florida institution, give them a ring or drop an email. Sports Grill is hiring all kinds of positions, from hostess to servers, bartenders, or join the kitchen staff to craft some great food for their amazing customers. Please send your resume to m.cruz@sportsgrillmiami.com or call 305-219-5726. That's 305-219-5726. Sports Grill. Good food, good drink, good friends.
Red, an infrared light, has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Red Recover can maximize your efforts by potentially improving cellular metabolism, blood circulation, and muscle recovery. Evolve your training and step into the new era of muscle recovery. Red Recover.
The Big O Radio Show is looking for partners to join our growing platform. If your business is ready to reach an audience that starts in Florida, crosses the nation while expanding internationally, this is the program that provides that vehicle. The Big O Radio Show is ready to broadcast live anywhere in the world to represent your event or product. To reach out by phone, 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. Or email bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Help us grow as we provide the content and personal connection corporate entities will never achieve. When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Hey, good morning, boys and girls. Welcome aboard. Time to rock and roll on the show live from Las Vegas. Yes, sir. The start of the Summer League gets going pretty much today. Yesterday some of the stuff are already started. So today, Sean and I will be headed. Sean is here. He is in Vegas with us. Lucky bastard had 0 delays yesterday. He took off, although his plane had no AC. So, there's, I don't know. Do I take a couple of hours of delay or AC? Yeah, I'm taking the delay. I'm taking the delay. I'm taking the delay. So, but he did get here on time, so that's good. So we didn't have to go to sleep super late and all that. Still got to wake up really early to do this show nowadays. Okay, we are ultra dedicated to you all because out here in the West Coast, we're waking up 3 hours earlier than we normally would. But we love you all. We are dedicated, and we want to keep going and get this thing cranked out. And looking forward to covering the Heat, some of the games, meeting the players, all that kind of stuff. So we'll have some fun, meet a lot of NBA people. And, of course, grow the platform, which is what we're here to do. I like it. Armando Swaim already says, morning from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Yeah, baby. All right. Salem witches are there, aren't they? Let's see what else. Big Dan is in Greater Good. I like it. Steve Chapman, of course, number 1, and Jamie Zorria. It's that race for number 1 between those two every single day. And thank you all to Extreme and Nizzle and all kinds of you guys out there. So appreciate all of you already locking it up and hitting that like button. Please, very important to hit that like button and subscribe too, because it's strange. It's like, I think it's 40%, 45% of the people that are watching are subscribers. So it's like there's a ton that are watching that are not subscribing. And so subscribe, man. Let's go. Let's get it in there and subscribe to the program. Appreciate it. And of course, hit that like button whenever you're listening on the podcast or watching on YouTube. Always appreciate it. Marlins and Mutts yesterday. Yeah, the Mutts did a number on them. 10-0 as Castano struggled there and gave up 5 earned runs in 4 innings. So I don't think it was a good outing for him. They'll continue their set today against him. We are loaded, by the way, on the show. We got a bunch of guests. Ira Winderman will join us at 10:30. So we'll talk a little basketball. We'll get the latest with the Miami Heat. He's here in Vegas with us. 11 o'clock, Manny Navarro will be joining us. So we'll talk all things Canes with him. Omar Kelly is going to stop by at 11:30. at noon. Al Bernstein is going to join us from Showtime, and we got a big fight this weekend with Magsayo and Vargas. That's going to be a lot of fun, and two undefeated guys. So that's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be a nice little war. So we'll talk to Al Bernstein from Showtime at noon. With that one at 12:30, Cameron Wolf is also going to join us. So we got a loaded show for you today. We got all kinds of things to talk about on the program. We got people that are twerking. We got football stuff to talk about. We got all kinds of just stuff that might be a little bit off the wall too. But you know us. We might find a story or two that is kind of off the wall. So that's the way we roll, as they say. If you want to get in on the program, 855-912-1056. That's the Welt and Rheaume text line, the law office you want to use. Welt and Rheaume, 855-912-1056. They are the ones that will bring the insurance companies to their knees, which is what you need. Panthers, by the way, I see this report that initially wanted Baker Mayfield to take a $7 million pay cut. And this is going to be such an interesting experiment with the Panthers, because everybody's ass is on the line. And, I would hope that after this trade, that Matt Rule and Baker really got on the same page, because their careers are on the line. If Matt Rule doesn't get that quarterback, he's out of here. Now, he made a boatload of money. They'll fire him and he'll happily leave. And, he got his cash. What is it, $70 million in 10 years or something like that, right? Isn't it? I think it's a 7-year, and thanks to John Gruden and the Raiders that he ended up getting that kind of a ridiculous contract when he hasn't accomplished anything whatsoever. Interesting how coaches are now what rookies used to be in the NFL. Remember when rookies came in, they got these enormous contracts, and it was throwing everything out of whack, because veterans are like, yo, this rookie's getting paid more than I am, and I've been in the league for 10 years, and I got 100 sacks, and this guy's getting more than me already. That it was whack, and they fixed it, which is the way it should be. You should not be earning the kind of money when you come into the league. You haven't done anything whatsoever. And it's funny how Matt Rule gets that contract when he hasn't accomplished jack shit in the NFL. I don't care what you did in college. More often than not, the people that come from college fail. They don't succeed. They fail more often than not. Maybe in today's world, it'll start to it'll change a little bit, because the game is more college than it's ever been. But still, you look at it, and normally, and so it's weird how we're at that point in coaching that people like Matt Rule are getting money, earning money that they don't deserve whatsoever. And so his job is on the line. His career is on the line if he's going to be an NFL head coach. And then on the flip side, Baker's career is on the line, because this is the next stop. And because he's also been kind of difficult to deal with, that's also a problem for Baker. So he has to kind of prove to people that he can get along, that he's not going to be a problem for the franchise, and more importantly, can he play? I mean, and here's the thing, you don't beat Sam Darnold out. So everybody's ass is on the line in that decision. It's an interesting one, but it's one that is there's enough pressure as it is just to perform in the NFL, just to perform in pro sports. Now you throw all of this in there, and he didn't have a lot of options. So he's going to Carolina. They got a couple of weapons, but it's going to be up to him. If he's a really good quarterback, then he will survive. But if he isn't, this will be where he ends up. Oh, man. And let me tell you something. Baker Mayfield, after all the bravado and all the talk, he ends up as a backup somewhere. He's going to be hearing it from his opponents at times, from all the stuff. So, it's a pressure cooker in Carolina. And the question is, does it cook properly, and are you able to open it up and finish the meal, or does it explode and stain all over the kitchen and maybe possibly hurt people in the process? We'll see how that pressure cooker is handled in Carolina between Baker Mayfield and a head coach that Matt Rule. We'll see. We'll see. You got your cash, Matt. You got your cash, my brother. Let's see. Big O, new times in calling Mark Hochman the LeBron James. What's that? Huh? I don't know what that means. Oh, the new times thing. Oh, okay. Good for him. Good for him. Let's see. Good morning, Big O and Sean. Bitcoin got a little pump. Isn't there still gas prices going on? Isn't there a war going on still? Aren't there still supply chain issues? Don't we have the Celsius mess and Voyager and Luna and isn't unemployment starting to go up a little bit now? Do you want me to continue? None of it means anything. You know what I mean? It's like the technical analysis people. So it's a pump. It pumped. It was like at 18, 19. It went up to 22 yesterday. It's at 21.5 now. But I was telling my wife yesterday, I was like, I don't know what this pump means. It's like the problems in the world are still there. So I can't expect the stock market, the crypto market, or anything to really soar. We still have car companies that have thousands of cars sitting there and they can't ship them out. You know why? Because they don't have chips. So, I mean, there's so many issues all throughout the world right now that the pump means nothing to me at the moment, because there's no way it's sustainable. And the crypto market got over the $1 trillion mark. Remember, the crypto market was in the $3 trillion mark. It went just under $1 trillion. It recaptured $1 trillion yesterday again. So it'll all bounce back. It'll bounce back and it'll come back to bigger numbers and higher highs than ever for all the good coins and all the good stocks. But the problem is, until we kind of get through a lot of the stuff that we're going through right now, I don't think we're out of that window for another 6 to 9 months. I think what I'm telling you is, this is the beauty, is I think you're still in a buying zone for 6 to 9 months. So I still think you're going to get great prices on Bitcoin and Ethereum for the next 6 to 9 months. And then I think once we start getting out of all this crap, then you'll start to see things soar. Everything, stock market, crypto market, everything will start to soar. But right now, it's just hard to believe any kind of pump that is going to be sustainable. You know what I mean? Rosendo, good morning, Big O Nation. May your Friday be filled with God's mercies and blessings. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Big O, hope you're having a great time in Vegas. Thank you. Well, I mean, already doing a couple shows, but best part was also I got to see the Morrissey concert, which was absolutely phenomenal. And I got to admit, got a ticket again to go see Morrissey on Saturday night. So I'm going back. I'm going to go see him twice during this trip. So, it was so good. I have to go back, and I was able to get another ticket in the pit. So that was the key. Also, I'm a concert snob. So I have to have good seats to kind of, or a standing place that's good, because obviously in the pit there is no sitting. You're standing the entire time. It's actually a cool concert because there's no opening act. So I love that when you walk in and you're just going to see the original. You know what I'm saying? Nelson says, New Times is calling Mark the LeBron James of sports talk. Nelson says, as he sends in a super chat. Thank you, Nelson. Appreciate it. So hey, that's good, man. I mean, what can I tell you? It's a fun award to get. overall. So, it's, what can I tell you? One of those deals. Good for Mark and good for Channing, by the way, also, because both guys and what's it called, Solana, who also does a nice job with them. So all three of them, they do a nice job in the afternoon. Not much sports, but that's kind of the funny part about sports talk. Good morning, everybody. Hit that like button, says Big Dan. Thank you, Big Dan. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate all of you as always for hitting that like button. Very important to hit that like button. All right, what else do we have going on in the world of sports? We're going to talk to Ira Winderman at the bottom of the hour. And I mentioned this a little bit to Anthony yesterday, and I think you all have to just be prepared that there will be no Durant deal at all. There's really no shot, pretty much, to get, Kevin Durant. Did you see the story that came out of Minnesota? Did you see what they asked Minnesota for? They asked Minnesota for Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, and 4 first-round picks. How is Miami going to even come close to that? Miami can't give anybody that's close to Anthony Edwards. Have you watched Anthony Edwards play? Forget Karl Anthony Towns, who's a good player, okay, in his own right. Anthony Edwards is a badass. Like, I would love Anthony Edwards next to Jimmy Butler. You give me Anthony Edwards, and I'm psyched for the Miami Heat for this upcoming season. I mean, super psyched. They wanted Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, and 4 first-round picks. By the way, we're not talking about Anthony Edwards, the nerd. No, we're talking actually the real basketball player. Okay? Not Goose with two O's. Okay? No. We're talking about the basketball player. So, I mean, I think that kind of tells you that you're coming back with the same crew. And you're not getting Donovan Mitchell because they're going to build over there. Now, there is a report about Damian Lillard at odds with the owner, but unless you're going to trade him Kyle Lowry, then okay. And, you got to deal with Jimmy Butler and say, Jimmy, I'm sorry, but we got to go trade for the better player. And, we brought your guy in, and your guy, looked like Orlando Alzagari. And he can't look like Orlando Alzagari and play the damn game. And Jimmy's going to go, Orlando Alzagari, what the hell are you talking about? Don't worry about it. It's an inside joke. It's probably what they'll tell him, And so it just, one of those. So it just, no way. No way. There's if they're asking for all this, whenever they come down from their asking price, it's still not going to be, Miami's not going to reach that stratosphere. And I told you, the only way is if you're going to ship Bam out and you're taking Ben Simmons in, because that's what no one has talked about. Because Minnesota's not going to take Ben Simmons. The Suns aren't going to take Ben Simmons. Toronto's not going to take Ben Simmons. The only way Miami makes it happen, I'm telling you, Bam has to be shipped somewhere else. And whatever the haul you get in for Bam on top of what you got to give from your team goes all the way to Durant. It almost gets to the point, believe it or not, even though it's Kevin Durant, he is 34 years old. It is almost starting to get to the point where, are we all getting drunk on the bad vodka, on the bad wine, on the bad cheap rum or something? Is that what's going on? Because is he really worth that kind of haul? Probably not. Would you give him 4 first-rounders, Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns for Kevin? How are you going to compete if you're Minnesota after that? So if this is going to become a Carmelo Anthony type deal, then you can keep Kevin Durant. I'm fine. Because so I'm going to get Kevin Durant, and what? I'm going to get the same team that's going to get maybe to the second round, third round, but no shot at the finals, because Kevin Durant's going to look around and not going to have enough people, because you traded the world just to get him and to enjoy him for what? A year or two? Because 3 years from now, he's 37. You think he's going to be able to be the same player at 37 with the wear and tear and the injuries that he's had? So you're really renting the player for a year or two. That's what you're doing with Kevin Durant. Year 3 and 4 from now, that's the back end, bro. That's the 37, 38. That's you're on the back nine. You're kind of out of gas already at that point. You've been lugging around the clubs for all day now. You're in hole 15. You're a little worn out. When you go to swing those clubs, it's a little tired. You're feeling the legs now. You had a lot of sweat go through your body. Know what I'm talking about? I don't know. It gets to a point where you're intoxicated with the idea of having Kevin Durant. But the problem is you're going to get drunk, deadly drunk in the process, and maybe it's not worth the high, And I think that's the case, because if that's what you're asking Minnesota, Miami can't even come close to that. So why are you? We're going to trade him to watch him play here with nobody? Yeah, no, I think you're just better off staying put. And you know what? You're going to have to improve from within. It's Caleb Martin getting better. It's Bam getting better. It's Duncan Robinson finding the stroke he's had the 2 years prior to this past season. It's Tyler Hero elevating to an all-star status. It's Tyler Hero showing you he's a starter, not a sixth man. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what it's not about Jimmy getting any better. You can't ask Jimmy Butler to get any better than what he is already. It's everyone else. It's your Saban doing things that you didn't expect him to do. That's what you need in this coming season. That's how the Miami Heat have to improve, and that's their only chances of getting even farther than they were last year. Even though they're not better because they already lost PJ Tucker. It's Oladipo having a larger role in the offense and really becoming a factor on this team. Oladipo has to be the star we all wanted to alleviate the pressure from Jimmy. That's what needs to happen. And maybe that's why they changed it from a 1 year to a 2 year deal. They realized, we're not getting that whale. We have to improve from within, and then we'll try to find whatever we can along the way. But that star is not there to be had. We'll talk to Ira about that at the bottom of the hour, but it's looking really bad in that sense. And that's a shame. Devin Jordan, thank you for the love in the super chat, my man. He says, Big O, what's the next move for the Heat if we can't get KD? Do they trade for Collins to replace PJ Tucker? Maybe. I don't know. Nelson, thank you. I appreciate it for the super chat again. I mean, no reason to take shots at Hawk, bro. Hawk's a good dude, and they do a great job. It's a different kind of show. It's all good, bro. It's not a big deal. It's that's not needed, bro. Congratulations to them. Let them enjoy the love, man. And they got it. They deserve it. They earned it. Let them earn it. No reason to take shots. It's a different kind of. It's not a sports show, but it's kind of funny that it's a sports show, but it's not really a sports show. That part is funny. I like that. Rosendo says the Heat should trade for younger players like Anthony Edwards or DeAndre Fox. Rosendo, why would Minnesota give away Anthony Edwards? Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You know, that's stupid on their part. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous to think that they would give up. If you're giving up Anthony Edwards, then you're basically telling your fans, don't bother to ever buy tickets for us ever again because we have no intentions on ever trying to win at all. I mean, how are you going to trade one of the best players you've had in the organization the last 20 years? You can't. What else? Big O, do you think for a split second that the rumor that the Nets are spreading to just drive the trade value up for KD? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it is a ridiculous number, and that's because it's probably, the reality. By the way, I tell you about the Welton Rayom text line every single day. If you need a law office that has been at this for a long time, over 20 years, 20, 25 years, they've been at it, bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. I've experienced it firsthand. They are absolutely amazing. 954-966-4646, folks. So if you have some property damage, you want to call them. You got business owner claims and you got some issues, call Welt and Rayom. They bring the insurance companies to their knees. They've been at this for a long time. They're in Hollywood. So if you're anywhere in South Florida and you are dealing with any of these kind of issues, pick up the phone, 954-966-4646. Go to the website, WRFLAlaw.com. Check it out, Welt and Rayom, the law office you want to call. All right. What do we got? You'd rather trade for Collins and keep Tyler. Well, question is, what are you gonna give up if you could trade for Collins? And so far, we haven't even heard that they're trading Collins. That's the thing. We all keep saying it, but we haven't heard it. You know what I mean? So we don't even know what the hell's going on with that one. But when it comes to KD, that one is pretty much out the door. The way things are shaping up, we'll talk to Ira now here at the bottom of the hour about the KD situation, but it just doesn't look like you're going to get KD. It just looks like it's the asking price is at a stratosphere that Miami can never reach. Now, that's not to say that even Brooklyn will get that stratosphere, but even if they have to step down a bit, it just doesn't look like Miami can actually meet it. So, yeah, they might have to set their sights on something smaller, or it's what we'll talk to Ira now at the bottom of the hour. It just seems like improvement from within is where you're probably going, and that's where you're going to have to lean. Be a really good team overall, but championship caliber, that's a whole different ball game. All right, quick break. Ira Winderman and our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. That's next.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
All righty, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend. That is Ira Winderman. Ira, how you feeling, my man? You feeling good?
I'm good. Wake up, oh. We got work to do early in the morning in Vegas.
Tell me about it, man. Tell me about it. All right, so I saw the Minnesota report. Anthony Edwards, which that alone already just becomes crazy. Karl Anthony Towns and 4 first-rounders. And everything else that's been talked about what they're asking for. I just get the feeling we're really Heat fans need to come to the realization there will be no Durant deal. They're not even going to come close to it because they don't have the ammunition. And it's probably more about improving from within than anything else.
No. And I know that sounds good, but this is all liar's poker. This is all what you say when you're talking on July 7th and July 8th, you can ask for the world, because the last time I checked Orlando Alzagari, there's not an NBA game that counts for another 3 months. This is all posturing. You ask for the world. What I can tell you is this, the Miami Heat inside their offices have put together packages for Kevin Durant. They have worked on packages. They are considering it. There is no reason for Brooklyn not to ask for the world right now. And I'll tell you why. Sean Marks is trying to keep his job as general manager of the Nets, if that's possible. Joe Tsai, the owner of the team, is trying to make it look like he's doing everything possible for the Nets fans, if there is such a thing in the NBA. So you want to say at the start of the process, we went out and asked for the world. And then you turn it on KD and say, but KD has made this so untenable that we've had to take a little less. And you know what, Nets fans might buy for this reason. They know what it looked like when James Harden made it look untenable. And they realized they had to trade. So the NBA is in a different place now. So I think what the Nets are doing is this. If something goes wrong with KD and you don't get max value, it's not on the GM. It's not on the owner. We tried. It's on player empowerment. And you don't see this in any other sport. In any other sport, okay, you're approaching a contract year. You have 1 year left. You can use leverage. With 4 years on his contract, a player is trying to leverage a team, and it's working. Adam Silver's going to talk next Tuesday or Wednesday here in Vegas, and he's going to open it up to questions. And I believe one of them will be, where do you draw the line about a player even being allowed, whether on social media, leaked to one of the NBA insiders, to demand a trade while in the middle of a contract? Because I've got to tell you, I know you're a man out on your own and an entrepreneur right now. But when you did work for corporations, there was plenty to be said. I mean, our late friend Hank Goldberg just passed last week. He was the guy who went out on his own, said you should not be running a station, was suspended, was eventually let go. Most of us know there's a line. But in the NBA, there's no line. You can demand out while still collecting your paycheck. James Harden played like crap in Houston and in Brooklyn while still collecting his paycheck. This is a very different world we're in. So I would not get caught up on what's happening on July 8th. I would get caught up on what happens in late August, in September, and in October.
Yeah, but Ira, here's where I disagree with you.
Okay.
Where their ceiling is right now is maybe, okay, it's the sky. And I get it. You want to make it more like Michael Jordan's roof and bring them down to reality. But my point is, whenever they do come down, Miami will not be able to meet that, because unfortunately there are teams that still have more ammunition than Miami. And as I've said before, unless they're willing to move Bam somewhere else and take on that Ben Simmons contract, that's the only way I think it ends up happening, because the Suns aren't going to take Ben Simmons and the Raptors aren't going to take Ben Simmons. So if Miami really wants to get Durant, they're going to have to move Bam, because they don't have enough ammo by keeping Bam and not taking Simmons and getting Durant. That's what I think overall, because the Suns and Toronto have way more ammunition, no matter how much they lower the bar and how much less they have. What I'm saying is the reality is Miami does not have enough to play poker in this game overall. That's my point.
Okay, and so we're sitting around the poker table, which we do here in Vegas anyway. So one of the people at the table is the Suns, and you mentioned what they have, and you're considering DeAndre Ayton in that. If DeAndre Ayton, a free agent who can choose where the hell he wants to go on his own, says, that's a crap show over there. I don't need that. If he doesn't avail himself to the whims of the Suns, they don't have a better package. They have Mikal Bridges, who's a nice player. They have Cam Johnson, who's an okay player, probably a level or two below Tyler Johnson. You have that. Tyler Hero, I'm sorry. Tyler Johnson would be another story. I throw him in a second. Then Toronto, I'm not so sure where Toronto is right now. On a team sort of on the uptick that just got rid of its own 36-year-old star in Kyle Lowry a summer ago, wants to go in on a player in his mid-30s. I think Toronto Masai and what they're growing organically there, he might want to stay with what he has, his young players, and grow his own core, as he largely did until he added Kawhi Leonard as his last piece.
That's what I was just about to tell you.
But I don't think they're one piece away. I don't think they're one piece away right now, Toronto. I think when they got Kawhi, they were one piece away. When Siakam had advanced, when Van Vliet had advanced, when they realized they had it together a little bit more. So what I'm saying is, and for me, this is awesome. I know that I'll be able to talk to Orlando Alzagari twice a week on our accurate Pembroke Pines report about Kevin Durant for all of July, probably all of August and part of September. And that's what we love to do anyway, because this story has so many scenes and acts still to be played out. The one thing about Pat Riley and Andy Ellisberg, and Big O, this is important, and I want you to stress this to all the people on your chat board. Pat Riley is not afraid to fail when it comes to harpooning. So while so many people out there, you know what it was like. Oh, he didn't get Gordon Hayward when he left Utah. He didn't get Gordon Hayward when he left Boston. He didn't get Durant when he left Oklahoma City. He didn't get Durant when he left Golden State. Lesser men, non-Hall of Famers might have said, this is really hurting my legacy. Pat Riley couldn't give a rat's butt. If he has a chance still to get a Kevin Durant, he's going to be the last man standing. Even if he's at the altar and someone snatches him away, he's not going to give up. I guarantee you, if you were to go inside FTX Arena right now and ask, are there still permutations for you guys to try to get Kevin Durant, Andy Ellisberg's big board will be full of them. And you know what? There are 3 and 4 and bigger team trades where maybe a Ben Simmons winds up in Sacramento. And you got all these moving pieces because Andy Ellisberg is a very, very sick man.
Yeah. Wow. So you got Sacramento taking on Ben Simmons.
I have someone taking on Ben Simmons.
You got a shithole becoming hell.
Hey, if you know what?
Damn, you're some boy. Sacramento fans, that wasn't me. That was Ira sabotaging your franchise, bearing it even more into the abyss than it's been for the last 45 years.
Oh, there are certain players you might do right by because, hey, KD did leave the Warriors to come to the Nets, did try to make it work with Harden and Kyrie. So I think to a degree the Nets will try to do right by him because they're going to want all the stars. The Nets owe no allegiance to Ben Simmons. He was the price of getting rid of the headache that was James Harden. So that's the difference. All this stuff's going to play out. I heard you on the crosstalk before I came on talking about you haven't heard anything about John Collins yet. You will. Things take time, and I'll tell you why. The Hawks are talking about giving an extension, rookie scale extension to DeAndre Hunter. Once they do that, you're going to have Trae Young under a rookie supermax. Right. You're going to have DeJounte Murray, who the Spurs didn't want to pay under a supermax or close to it. If you also have DeAndre Hunter under that kind of contract, at a certain point, the Hawks are going to go, we can't keep carrying these contracts. Right. You know, I know it's not sports talk radio, even out here on the interwebs, but patience is such a big part of it. And I've seen so many NBA deals. I wrote about it in my Sunday column, or actually in the story in the Sun Sentinel this week. The Heat have made so many major deals, Big O, in August and September. When they did the Posey and Walker and Jason Williams deal to close that. That came at the start of September. They did the Brian Grant deal when they redid the team in 2000 and the Anthony Mason deals. They did those in August. The Shaquille O'Neal deal was not finalized till the 3rd week in July. It's still early. Time of day out here in Vegas and in free agency. Maybe a little patience.
All right. Well, we'll see if the Collins one I can see with the Hunter move.
Right.
That would be 4 salaries.
And another name, and I know you're talking about possibilities of power forward because we have none. I keep stopping tall people on the street here and asking them if they want to play for the Heat. You know, is Miles Turner still going to be out there? The Pacers are totally imploding it. They got rid of all of, Domantas Sabonis is out the door. They moved off of Malcolm Brogdon. So anyone is available there. There might be a fire sale. Now, I don't know if you're in love with him or not. I don't know if you want to give up.
I like him. I don't think you give up the world for him, but I like him because I think he'll be a better player here than he was there, actually.
Most are, but I probably wouldn't go as far as Tyler Hero, although I might for one reason, Big O. If I get closer to Tyler's extension deadline, and he is firm unresolved that he wants a rookie supermax like Bam Adebayo and wants to get $180 million, I might say to myself, you know what? Just like the Suns did with DeAndre Ayton, when they said they're drawing the line there, I think the Heat might draw the line also and saying, you know what? We got Miles Turner already locked into a deal. Maybe this Hero thing is going sideways. We need to do something. So again, that's why I'm going to be here with you on these accurate Pembroke Pines reports twice a week, every week, telling you there still is hope. Orlando Alzagari, my friend, keep hope alive.
All right, so walk us through the contract that Oladipo signed. Why did they go for a 2-year deal now instead of a 1-year deal?
Because it helped dip them below the luxury tax. And now I know my good friend Anthony Chang was berated by you yesterday as far as the Heat being cheap or not and trying to save money.
Yeah.
What they're trying to do is keep their flexibility. And Big O, the Heat has said, and I know you always call Mickey Arison out on this. If my team is in contention, I will pay the tax.
Yeah, he'll do that.
But just when I came on the segment with you right now, you said, I'm not sure if the Heat is in championship contention or not. So I think the Heat are sort of in this middle ground.
Well, they're not.
Team.
They have no shot at a championship.
Okay, so we know they're a playoff team, though. You'd agree with that, Big O?
They have a deep playoff team, yes.
We know they're good enough to win at least 2 rounds, compete in the East semifinals, right?
Yeah.
So I think until they get this thing rounded to a level where they can push all their chips like you did last night, all into the middle of the table, I think that's why they redid the Oladipo deal to stay below the tax, to deal with a 14-player roster, to keep their flexibility. And again, Victor Oladipo and Dwayne Dedmon, who have tradable contracts, cannot be dealt to January 15th. Caleb Martin, who has a tradable contract, cannot be dealt till December 15th. There might be a whole lot of patience required here, but there will be deals. There will be Donovan Mitchell or another Donovan Mitchell because Big O, I do not remember a single NBA season when a star did not grow discontented over the course of a season. Some teams will underachieve, and some players will say enough. And I got to tell you, there's even Joel Embiid hanging out there. And I spoke to someone with the Heat, and they said that, yes, you keep an eye on that because the Sixers have never gotten past with Joel Embiid the Eastern Conference semifinals. And if that starts going south with Harden, and if he winds up clubbing a little bit too much and not being the same player, and all of a sudden if PJ Tucker looks like he's 37 years old, maybe Embiid starts rocking the boat. We've seen Embiid. He's the king of social media. He'll let us know when he's not happy. Again, you have to be patient. Andy Ellisberg's thought, communicated through others, is this. He thinks this could be a season of titanic change in the NBA. And in this case, you want to be along the ride on the Titanic because you might wind up getting someone thrown overboard.
All right, Orlando Robinson, it was eventually the Heat, while they try to recruit these free agent kids, it's their decisions to come here eventually, right?
Correct. They're free agents.
Right. So I'm reading the quotes, and one of his quotes, it says, Miami is a big developmental spot. And, you know, in a way, I'm watching Mario Cristobal now, how he's getting these 4- and 5-star kids. And, you know, they've decided Miami over Alabama and Ohio State and Clemson. All of a sudden, instead of Tulane and Navy and East Carolina, that's what, you know, Diaz and Golden and some of these guys were beating some of these other schools for those kind of players. All of a sudden now, kids want to come here because of Mario and the relationships and all of that. Orlando Robinson, when he said Miami is a big developmental spot, that to me is huge because that already young players are realizing I want to maximize. I got to go there. That's where I'm going to be my best. And that, to me, when I saw that quote, I say kudos to the Heat because they have sold their organization to agents and players that, hey, man, if I want the best out of myself, I'm going to go there.
And, they've stood by those players. Even when those players have struggled, they've stood by their developmental projects. Think about how many chances Briante Weber got. Never able to maximize it. He was here 3 times. I'm going to give you another name. Chris Silva being brought back last season and then given a contract and his 10 days. He was away. They needed someone. They called him back. So often you and I'll talk about a player who gets his 2nd or 3rd or 4th chance at the Heat, whether it's in training camp or otherwise. They stand by their developmental projects. Remember, 2-way contracts can be subbed out at any time. Right now, Javonte Smart and Michael Mulder, who we'll see tomorrow night against the Celtics here out in Vegas, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, NBA TV, have the Heat's 2-way contracts. That could change by Sunday. So a guy like Orlando Robinson knows, yes, I'm teammates of Mulder and Smart right now, but if I outplay them, I might have their job. And you know what? An NBA 2-way contract pays $500,000. $500,000 more than you get somewhere else if you don't have the chance like Orlando Robinson got. So here's the interesting thing about Robinson. Does this mean the Heat still want Omer Yurtseven insurance if they're not sure that he can play with Bam because Robinson is so much more agile? Is he insurance for Dwayne Dedmon in case they throw him into a trade? It's a very intriguing move, and you and I were among the first when we saw the Orlando Robinson signing with the Heat, coming out of Fresno State and joining them. He was intriguing. He has started every single Summer League game to this point, all 3 in the California Classic in San Francisco. You can see who the Heat are devoted to. You can watch these games and saying player X, Y, and Z are their guys. And let's face it, there are filler players also because you have to fill your summer roster. But I think right now, I would keep an eye tomorrow when you're out at Thomas and Mack with me and UNLV. Keep an eye on Orlando Robinson. Keep an eye on Marcus Garrett coming back. You and I talked about him for a couple of times. A real nice prospect. Those could be your two-way players, and it could be, thanks, Javante. Thanks, Michael Mulder. We gave you some money, but now we're trying something else. And with the Heat only carrying 14, and with perhaps even one of those being Udonis Haslem, those two-way players might get the similar kind of shot that Caleb Martin got last season when he started on a two-way contract.
By the way, you meant 5:30 for our folks in Miami.
5:30 in the East. Yes, I'm doing everything. 2:30 for you. You're going to have to actually wake up early for another day there. I know this is killing you.
I know. 2:30 is good, man, because I've got more say in the evening again. So I still get to see my concert. So it's good. It doesn't.
I'm very surprised because I walked up to the Westgate right next to my hotel there and did not see you on the line for Barry Manilow tickets. So I am a little disappointed. Although I should probably Siri or Google this. Matter of fact, I'm going to do it. Hey Google, how old is Barry Manilow?
I say 80.
He was born in 43, so I'll let you do the math there. So, the man is still putting
80,
on a show. So
79. Hey, 79, 80. I don't know. 80, 43. So he is 79. So I was
79, and they're still throwing their underwear at him. For what reason? I have no idea.
Hey, I said 80. I was pretty close, bro.
That's close. I know. It's scary how old we're getting.
Yes, exactly. That's all right. So what else are you working on the Sun Sentinel? So Heat fans can check you out, my brother.
A couple of stories. I posted where the Heat roster is. Unfortunately, for now, this might be all there is. The Udonis situation, we'll talk about it Monday when I come back on my next accurate Pembroke Pines report. If he's taking up a roster spot, last season, the Heat played with 14 and had 3 players who couldn't contribute. Udonis Haslem didn't play. Victor Oladipo was rehabbing. Markieff Morris is whiplashed. They can't afford that again. I spelled out how they might be able to use the other 14th spot instead, including possibly shifting Haywood Highsmith back to a two-way contract, veteran guy. He's eligible. Then you could bring in another veteran, whether it's a Markieff Morris, whether it's a Montrezl Harrell, someone like that, do something like that. It's already posted the Sun Sentinel on your doorstep Saturday. Later today, I'm doing a story on Marcus Garrett, how all last season, even after his wrist surgery, he stayed in Miami. Like the rest of us, watched the Heat games on Bally Sports Sun. When the Heat were gone, he snuck into the arena, worked with the coaches and the training staff. He really wants to make it work. And Malik Allen told me he is in love with the kid because this is exactly what you want to see, the kind of perseverance to push through adversity, just like Orlando Alzagari going from terrestrial radio to dominating the interwebs. Marcus Garrett making his move also. That'll be published later at sunsentinel.com as well.
There you go. Follow him on Twitter, by the way, at Ira Heatbeat, and do what I do. Subscribe to the Sun Sentinel and support Ira and all the exceptional writers there in the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Ira, I will see you tomorrow, my friend. Looking forward to it.
See you Saturday. Talk to you again Monday on our accurate Pembroke Pines report. Thank you, Big O.
You got it. There you go. Ira Winderman and our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat report.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig's Inn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
All right. We thank Ira Winderman. Yes, sir. We love Ira, as always. By the way, Essential Moving Experts. And we love Sean Williams and the great people at Essential Moving Experts. And use our name, Big O. You will get $150 off. It doesn't matter. Long moving services, home moving services. Are you moving your office? Maybe you're going to new offices, and they've got a storage also location. So while you're in the middle of your move, they've got 30 days to hold your stuff to help you out. Flat rates, no hidden charges, no surprise charges. The price they give you is the price they're going to charge. Safe and efficient loading and unloading practices at all times. That is always exercise. Sean Williams and the great people at Essential Moving Experts. That's the only way they know how to do it. And of course, huge Dolphin fans, as you can see, the colors of their business is aqua and orange. If you're a Dolphins fan, come on, man, you got to support the people that support our show. He watches the show all the time. Big time fan of the show. Over 1,600 happy customers have dealt and dealed with Essential Moving Experts. And that's why they filed in and said, hey, man, they did a great job. You will enjoy it. Moving has never been so easy. So please call Sean and the great people at essentialmovingexperts.com, 844-368-5750. And remember to mention my name. You will get $150 off. All right. Essential Moving Experts. There we go. Big O, do you know what Ira's name is short for? Or is Ira the full name? I think Ira's the full name. I've never asked him. I think isn't Ira for Ira? I don't think it's a longer name, right? Yeah, Ira Cephas. Yeah, the great Ira Cephas. Yeah, there you go. That's what it is. Ira Cephas. Yeah, no, I have no idea. Zero. Although I get it that it's early. I don't, unless the Heat are willing to do the crazy ass stuff that I told you, take Ben Simmons, and move Bam somewhere else. I don't know how they do it. I don't think without that move, I don't see KD playing here. Okay. I hope I'm dead ass wrong. I hope so. But you know. Big O, I heard Ira say you went all in last night. I hope you were the winner. I'm always the winner, bro. I'm here. I'm in Vegas. Sean's out here. Yeah, I was all in on the blackjack table. I went all in, bro. Last night I was gambling my life away. My wife has more worries that I buy more Ethereum and Bitcoin than I do go to the blackjack table. Okay. All right. So that's really what she's more worried about than anything else. All right. Did you get more Bitcoin? Yeah, I did. All right. That's what I love about her too. She's backs me 1,000%, man. She believes in it too. So she believes in me. So it's poor woman. We're not taking Ben Simmons. I don't even want KD for real. Well, I mean, that's the only way I think I see it happening because they just don't have it. Anthony H bar. Yes, I like H bar, and H bar 6 cents is pretty good right now. If it goes down to 4 to 5 cents, that's going to be it's already a really good deal right now. H bar. I have some H bar, Anthony. I don't have a lot of H bar. I have a very small bag of H bar, but I do like H bar. It's like Illuvium. I have a very small bag of Illuvium too. And Illuvium now is at some amazing prices considering where it was because it was well over $1,000. So yeah, and I think it's part of the metaverse. It's going to be one of those monsters. Yeah, certain things. I dabble a little bit in a couple other coins, but not a lot. It's just kind of a little stash to kind of have some fun with it. H bar is one of those. It's good, but I can't sit there and say, oh, I got a ton. CKB, I have a bunch. I've bought more CKB to lower my overall price from where I initially had it. Right now it's been at a terrific deal. But again, that's a small bag I have of that. I don't have anything major when it comes to CKB, but I do have it. I do have some of it. No doubt about that. I would make a big move for Donovan Mitchell, but no one else that's on the market. I love the Donovan Mitchell move. Only problem is they're keeping him. It doesn't look like they're moving him at all. There's no way that all of this goes on without him not knowing. Think about this. He hasn't said peep one about his coach walking out the door, about the changes in the front office, about the fact that they traded away Gobert and Royce, and he has said nothing. He's been fine with it all. That tells me they sat down with him and told him, all right, Donovan, this is the plan moving forward. Are you all right with this? And he must have said, yeah, I'm great with it. Let's go. Because he has not said one peep. He has not complained about anything. And it was pretty open that him and Gobert did not have they weren't like, oh, buddy or anything like that. But then when you trade away Royce, who is one of your better 3-and-D guys, who's like a glue guy, a rotational guy, and then you're acquiring more picks, and Quinn Snyder walks out the door, then that tells me that, ownership, Ainge, Dwayne Wade sat down with you and told you, hey, look, we need to restructure this. And that's what I'm thinking of right now. I'm thinking they're trying to make the team more to what goes on now in the NBA. This whole slower prodding team with a big ass center in the middle, that was for the 90s, in the early 2000s or something. That's how you played the game. But now Rudy Gobert is a luxury in today's game because your rim protecting is not nearly as important. You'd like some rim protection, but you don't want a guy that's so limited. You need a guy that's flexible, that can play inside, then it can pop back outside. And that's not Gobert. That's not who he is. So to me, the whole Donovan Mitchell situation smells. It smells like he knows what the hell is going on, and they told him what was going on, and he has been absolutely fine with it, because there's no way you have this amount of massive change in the offseason and your superstar is just, hey, it's all good and everything's all right. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see that. So I was looking up the Morrissey tickets for today just for the hell of it to see if there was a bargain. It was so good. Looks like Caleb Martin and Strus will be our starting forwards. Yes. Chad says, good morning, Big O. Sorry I'm late. You are never late, sir. Is Donovan Mitchell really going to stay during a rebuild, though? Utah will be so mediocre this season. That is his best chance to come and play for his boyhood team. Again, have you heard him say anything? Anything at all? Nothing. He's been cool about it, man. Would love to see Jimmy B and Udonis tearing Ben Simmons up. I don't know if he can handle it. Will you say that's just what he needs? MJ, I don't know how much you're around young people nowadays. A lot of them can't handle tough love. A lot of them fold like a cheap tent, dude. You give them tough love, and you lost them. You insulted them. I'm not sure how many young people you deal with, but I'll tell you this. I don't even think it's out on a limb. Most Generation Zs cannot handle tough love. They can't handle guys like Jimmy Butler. No way, dude. No way. Most Generation Zs and millennials cannot handle Jimmy Butler. No. You're wrong. You're wrong on that. And from what I've seen from Ben Simmons, I don't think that guy is made like that. I don't think he can handle Jimmy Butler at all. I don't know. It seems to me like I don't think you have a lot of experience with young people nowadays. I don't think you've been shell-shocked by how soft young people are nowadays. Okay? I don't know. I would question that, my man. Heat has a squad that can compete. Jimmy, Vic, and Bam. The rest of the team will be better also. Victor has something to prove. I would be okay if Pat made no moves at the moment. We have until February. That could be the case. All right, let's take a quick break. Let's reset and get ready for hour number 2. And Manny Navarro will start off hour number 2 right here on the Big O Radio Show.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business. Car key replacements and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
Oh, yeah. There he is, the man that is following another man who is just scooping up players like I scoop up Bitcoin. That's what's going on. I don't know who collects more players or do I collect more Bitcoin? What is it? What do you think? What's the race? Mario getting more players or I get more Bitcoin?
Well, he hasn't signed anybody since Monday. He hasn't gotten a commitment from anybody since Monday. So I think you're a little hotter right now.
Yeah, he's slacking. Yeah,
he's slacking, man. He's slacking.
He's slacking right now. God bless, man. That is it. Really is impressive how he's been able to change the entire. I was just talking to Ira about this. Orlando Robinson, like when the draft is done, you go try to recruit these free agents that are undrafted, and then you're recruiting them, so they have to choose you also and their agents. And so Orlando Robinson was quoted yesterday saying Miami is a big developmental spot. And that's him and his agent understanding that, all right, listen, man, you can go anywhere. But if Miami wants you, those guys, look at all their players. They get better, this, that. Even if you don't stay in Miami, what they're going to teach you, you're going to be able to take it somewhere else and become a better player and earn more money. And that's a reputation. And so I just compared Mario because the last, 10, 15 years, bro, you would write something and we got this guy and we beat out Army and Tulane and Eastern Michigan for his ass. And you're like sitting there going like, what the fuck, dude? Who gives a shit? We beat out Eastern Michigan for this guy? Get out of here. And so now all of a sudden Mario comes in and now it's 4 and 5 star guys that you're getting, and you're beating out Alabama and Ohio State and Clemson. And, so now all of a sudden, now you're beating out the teams that you need to beat out to get to the top. And again, that's all about reputation.
Mm-hmm.
And in a very short amount of time, he has changed the perception. And I mean, in order to earn a reputation, it has to be over amount of time. So, but he's quickly developed a reputation. And to watch this new wave, this upcoming classes that are now starting to get loaded up with 4 and 5 stars, it's just kudos to Mario and what he's been able to do in such a really short amount of time, dude.
Yeah, I think, I saw some people reacting to my story who were like, well, you didn't write about NIL and all of this, right? How NIL and John Ruiz and all of that helps with the recruiting aspect. I've been around this a while now, and I've talked to a lot of different people, not just kids that go to Miami, but, kids and parents who take their kids to Texas A&M or to Georgia or to other programs. The money isn't always the number one factor. In fact, I would venture to say that a lot of these kids, when they discuss potential NIL deals in the recruiting process,
by the way, that person or people that brought that up, did you not tell them, hey, ass wipe, Alabama doesn't have money in NILs?
Well, that's the whole point.
Doesn't have money in NILs, you idiot.
That's
have money in NILs, you idiot. They're competing with the same stuff.
Right.
The hell are you talking about?
Right. And that's the part, that's what I was going to get to. And I appreciate you jumping in and adding all that, because the reality is every one of these elite kids is getting paid wherever they go. So is Miami
he's making like $1 million, bro? What are you talking about?
Is Miami in the game now because of John Ruiz and some of these other? Absolutely. But are they beating out Alabama and Ohio State and good teams to get these elite players? Yes. Why is that? If the money's equal, and the facilities, and listen, the on-campus stadium, Miami still doesn't have an on-campus stadium, right? The $100 million football, they're not built yet. So you tell me what's the difference.
Brother, nothing was equal with Miami for 25 years.
And now it finally is in the money front.
Yeah, the Canes weren't dropping off bags of money to recruits all these last 20 years like they do in Alabama, allegedly, and Ohio State, allegedly, and LSU, allegedly, and Georgia, allegedly, and all that. Finally, the administration said, we're spending money. We're going to buy the best coaches, the best head coach, and we're going to improve the facilities. Finally, we started doing things like modern college football. For any idiot to think that the NIL is the only difference when they were at a complete disadvantage for decades.
And still are. They still are at a disadvantage.
Yeah, they still are to a certain extent, but at least they have closed the gap.
Well, that's what my point is that you what I'm trying to dispel is this myth that it's, Mario, now he has money. That's the difference. No, the difference is all these kids are going to get paid. All the elite kids are going to get paid when they go somewhere. The difference is, who do they believe in? Which coach and which program do they think is going to help them get to the NFL and make their big payday, or help them become better men? Whatever it is that their family and them believe in, right? Some of it is money driven. There's no doubt. But another aspect to all of this is, hey, who's going to take my kid and make him a better person? Who can I surround him with that's going to maximize his talent and his ability, academics, everything else? Because a lot of these parents know, listen, even if their kids are 5 stars or 4 stars, how many busts have we seen, right? Kids that were predicted to be the next star that go to college and become nothing, but they go to college and they still get their degree and they still become something in life, even when football doesn't pan out. So a lot of that, the winning in this recruiting game, yes. Does it require money? There's no doubt. That's been true for 100 years now. The difference for Miami is that they have a guy now that people want to believe in and that want to come play for. And they didn't have that for a long time.
Of course not.
And it takes building a staff. It takes convincing these kids, hey, I'm going to come play. And let me tell you, that 10-year deal, the fact that it's a 10-year, $80 million deal and shows the kind of investment, okay, that a school is willing to make to have this coach for the long haul, that is huge. Because look, if you're Alabama right now, how many of these kids are saying, man, Nick Saban's, he's getting old, right? How long is he going to be around? Who's going to take over that program? outside of Ohio State, which has Ryan Day, which you look at and you say, unless he goes to the NFL, that guy's going to have a lot of success there for many years with a Brian Hartline, right? As a receivers coach. Like, you have to look at this from the kid's
How long
perspective.
does Brian Hartline stay as a recruiter, my brother?
Hey, he's getting the best receivers every single year. He's getting the best of the best.
He'll be an offensive coordinator, and then
right.
he
could move. Listen, Ohio State can pay him a fortune to be there forever, right? And listen, if the best receivers come to him every year and he doesn't even have to work that hard, just develop relationships with these kids, and it's already the reputation of, hey, this is the place to go if you're a receiver, then why leave a job like that for the NFL?
No, but he's a competitive sumbitch. He's going to want to.
Well, he's going to want to win. He's going to want to win, right?
I think he's going to want to improve himself. Like, he's going to want to climb the coaching ladder to it.
We'll see, but the point is, to me, if you're a kid and you're an elite recruit, okay, and you're going to get paid wherever you go to school because you're an elite player, right, it comes down to other factors. And what are the other factors? It's usually the coaching staff. It's who am I going to work with, and how are they going to get the most out of me? And Mario, as you said, has been building that reputation now for a long time. Going to Alabama was the difference for him. Okay, when he was at FIU and he did great things, it was awesome. We all paid attention down here, right? When he got FIU to go to a bowl game and win the conference and all the things that FIU did, T.Y. Hilton. But he needed to go somewhere and prove himself on a big level, and he did that at Alabama. He built himself a reputation for being the nation's #1 recruiter when he was assistant under Saban. And then he goes to Oregon, and he has tremendous success and puts guys in the NFL like Penei Sewell and Kayvon Thibodeau, who are top 10 picks. Mm-hmm. So if you're an offensive or defensive lineman and you look at Mario Cristobal and you say, man, this guy's a lineman, that is such an important part of this equation. And
sure.
So that's why you get a #1 ranked offensive tackle in a class assigned with you, because you built that.
Right.
So Miami they're in a great position right now. They're in a great position.
It's really impressive. Now, what I got to ask you, and obviously you've written a little bit about it, and maybe I've been ahead of my time here, because for many years I've called the ACC another crappy conference. Well, if we're really going to go to 2 super conferences,
right,
every other conference will be another crappy conference because there'll be 2 super conferences. So, what is the ACC going to do? Are they literally going to become another crappy conference? And what is the University of Miami going to do? Are they going to get their asses in gear and get the hell out before, everything crumbles? So walk us through this whole super conference talk, because I'm sure as the days go on, you're getting more and more information.
Well, let's put Miami aside for a second, and let's just look at the big picture of all this. Okay, there's essentially two TV stations. Okay, there's Fox and there's ESPN. ESPN owns the SEC and they own the ACC. Okay, the broadcast rights. Fox, Big Ten, and partially the Big 12. What I think is going to happen here is we're going to have 4 conferences. Okay, and part of that is TV programming. Right, you're going to need. You can't put all the SEC games. Like, you're going to run out of games. Right, 16 teams. You have 8 games a week. Well, you got to film more programming than that if you're ESPN, and you have this ACC network that you spend a ton of money on. So, will Miami and Clemson and Florida State, Virginia, North Carolina, will those teams make a jump to the Big Ten or the SEC? I think the #1 thing that needs to happen first is, what does Notre Dame do? Because they are the big cash cow in all this. They are the first domino. Their TV contract here is expiring soon with NBC. And right now they're tied into the ACC through every other sport. So most people think they're going to go to the Big Ten. If that happens, and they go to the Big Ten, then I think that spurs some more dominoes to fall here. And what makes sense?
They have more connections to the Big Ten than they do the ACC.
Right. And right now the Big Ten and
they've been playing Michigan and Michigan State, and who's the other Big Ten team that they play all the freaking time, dude? There's several Big
Purdue, Michigan. I mean, they'll have USC that's in there now coming up. Yes, for every reason it seems that Notre Dame will do that. Now, my issue in all of this, okay, and one of the solutions,
and plus regionally, even though they added the teams out west, regionally it makes even more sense for them.
Oh yeah, there's no question. They don't belong in the SEC. But my whole point here is, until Notre Dame, I think, makes a decision about what they're going to do, I don't see any rush for the SEC/ESPN to do anything because, first of all, ESPN owns the ACC's rights through 2036. Okay, so I mean, for them, they're set up. It's Fox. What does Fox want to do here? What are they going to do in this whole thing? Are they going to go out and try to go up to, between them and the Big Ten, try to bring the Big Ten up to 20 teams, right? And then who fits in that model? The Pac-12 contract.
So why hasn't the ACC? Why doesn't the ACC do something like that now?
Because right now the only thing the ACC is trying to do is figure out, well, how can we create more revenue without necessarily adding more teams? Because if you add more teams and it's not Notre Dame,
you're splitting the pie.
You're splitting the pie among more teams that aren't as valuable.
You're locked into 36.
You're kind of screwed. The grant of rights deal through 36 has you locked in. So that's my whole point in this is, what is the motivating factor for anybody to do anything at this point? The only motivating factor is Notre Dame because they are a profitable team. Oregon and Washington, yes, are they good, programs that'll get viewers? Yes, but are they, Clemson or North Carolina or Notre Dame? Are they on that scale? I'm not sure. So my whole point to you here, is everybody wants to go out there and throw out rumors that all these things are going on, right? But if you look at the TV, right, and you just look at ESPN, what is their motivation to do anything other than if Fox and Big Ten try to come in and steal some ACC teams? There's no reason. They've got them locked into a very favorable ACC contract, okay, through 2036. And the SEC is going to make a boatload of money. Who are you going to add to the SEC besides Notre Dame that's going to make it any more valuable?
Right. No, I got you.
So my whole point is, while everybody's freaking out over this, it's like, just look at the dominoes and look at the facts. The facts are that the Pac-12 is the desperate conference right now. They just lost their two biggest assets. They have to do something. Their TV contract ends in 2024. There are schools there that want to jump elsewhere. But are they valuable enough to move to the Big Ten or the SEC? In my opinion, no. So it almost creates a situation where nobody else has to move. The situations are perfect for them to stay where they are and continue to cash in. Now, this partnership that you've heard about here in the last 24 hours between the Pac-12 potentially and the ACC network, all of that is getting the Pac-12 on more television sets. The ACC network is available on YouTube and a bunch of different streaming places now. Okay. The Pac-12, which has been on its own, not connected to ESPN or anybody else, they don't have the access to as many homes. So what they want to do is get their games on the ACC, and they will pay a fee. So that will raise the revenue.
So they lack some of the advantages other conferences. Is Gavin Newsom also running them too?
It might be the case.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It might be the case. But my point is, while we're all getting bent up, well, hey, this rivalry is the best. No, man, this is all about money. This is a business situation. And the business situation tells you the contracts. There's no motivation for ESPN to do anything. They've got the SEC that they want. They got Texas and Oklahoma now. They're going to be making over $1 billion. Okay. And these schools and the ACC, okay, yes, they're only making 35, 40, 50. They'll be making half of what the SEC makes, but they're under contract. And so unless you bring in a Notre Dame, or unless you're able to somehow do the math and say, hey, if we add these two schools or those two schools, that's going to raise our value. I just don't think anything's going to happen. I think we're all blowing a bunch of hot wind. There's a whole lot of hot rumors out there because people want to see this, solved. I don't think we're anywhere close to having this figured out. And there's a lot of rumors about, hey, this conference is talking to this conference. If you're the SEC, why do you want to add Virginia? Why do you want to add Florida State and Miami right now? Florida State and Miami aren't good right now. Miami will be, but what's the future for Florida State?
Yeah, but that whole 36 thing is to buy yourself out of that is going to be near impossible.
And that's the whole point.
Money, dude. God.
It's about the money. So I get it. There's a lot of excitement, and listen, there's a lot of people reading these stories that we're writing at the Athletic.
Is Ruiz ready to write that check? Hey, Mr. Ruiz, can you write a $750 million check for us?
Get us out of here. Look, is Miami thinking about this? Absolutely. Is the administration? Are there people involved? Dan Radakovich, Rudy Fernandez, all the people at that are involved in this. Yes.
You realize they can build their own stadium for the money they need to buy out of that contract.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, and I'll tell you this. Oh, and I've said this to you before. They like being at Hard Rock. They like the location. In the end, there's a lot of parking. There's a lot of area to come and enjoy games.
It's a beautiful stadium now,
it's a
dude. I
beautiful
mean,
stadium, hosting
it's an
facility.
awesome stadium now, bro.
Look,
I mean,
man.
awesome stadium. It's like those kids walk onto that whole property and the tennis tournament and the dolphin practice facility and the F1 track and all that other stuff. And it just, there's more to it. You know what I mean? And you're walking into it and it has the Hard Rock name to it now and all that. It just, there's just a lot of juice. There's a lot of swag. There's there's a lot of bling all over the place. So it's just exactly what these kids want to see.
Yeah, and it hosts Super Bowls, and it's it's a world-class facility. So I mean, again, look, the most important thing for Miami right now, if you're a Hurricanes fan, is that Mario Cristobal keeps recruiting his ass off, and then in the fall they win 10 games and make some noise, so that the 24 kids and the 25 kids want to come here too. That's what it's all about. It's all about winning on the recruiting first, and then winning on the field. And once you got it rolling, bro, and they're in a perfect situation. I mean, the ACC is weak. It's a weak conference.
Well, and also if you become more of a power, you will have them more power.
Exactly.
Also.
You win. What do you think? Where do you think Miami is in 2 years if they win an ACC championship within the next 2 years?
Oh yeah, no, they're back in. They're in the national mix all the time, and
that's all that matters. That's the SEC, Big Ten, all of that. That's going to get itself worked out one way or the other, depending on what Fox and the Big Ten want to do. But I mean, I'm not here to throw water on all this craziness because, again, there's a lot of interest. But I just think you have to be realistic and look at the business aspect of this. What is ESPN's motivation to do anything regarding conference realignment when they've already got the best conference, the SEC?
Yeah.
And then they've got a second conference in the ACC that's locked in through 2036. Why do it? So unless Fox and the Big Ten come and say, hey, Clemson, we're going to pay off your bills and we're going to take you to the Big Ten, which will then hurt the ACC's value. There really is no motivation for them to do anything. That's the reality, the way I view it.
I'm with you there. All right. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. And of course, don't forget at Caneswear, everything over $99. You go to caneswear.com and you order over $99, you will get free shipping, or go visit them at 2511 South University Drive in Davie. They got anything and everything pretty much with a Canes logo. Inter Miami gear, Miami Marlins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Hurricanes, you name it, they got it all in there. Miami Heat, they got it all for you there at Caneswear. All right, Manny, what are you working on over at The Athletic so folks can check you out?
Well, tomorrow there'll be another commitment for the Hurricanes. I think Jaden Wayne, the 5-star defensive end, will be committing. So that'll be news over the weekend, I'm sure, to watch. I have a couple different stories that I've been trying to finish here for a couple months now from trips that I've made. And so I'm zeroing in on that stuff, recruiting-wise, and South Florida Express, hanging out with those guys. The overtime tournament where they had all kinds of it's this new 7-on-7 thing out in Vegas that they did last month that I'll have a write-up on that. I'll have a podcast. And then I'm going on vacation. I'm going to Georgia with my family.
How dare you?
Stay up in the cabin for a week. So I'll be gone for a week, but I'll talk to you, but I will not be writing any stories for The Athletic during that time. I'll try to pre-write a lot of stuff here before it happens to have it ready to go. But yeah, a little vacation, and then, hey, listen, then camp starts, and then it's an everyday grind. So
thank God.
I know there are a lot of guys out there trying to get a break in, trying to get a trip in. A lot of other reporters. This is tough with the realignment stuff going on, but we all got to get vacation sometime, man.
Yeah, no, definitely get in a little vacation. I'm sure the wife will probably put you in a straitjacket, lock you in a room, and then she'll go enjoy the rest. Yeah, that's probably what will happen. You'll get your rest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's how she has to force Manny to get rest. Put him in a straitjacket, lock him in a room, stay there. That's it.
Yep. But I always do. I always have stuff
in the room that feeds you like direct wine, and so that's it. So you're just that's it. You're kind of wasted the entire time just hanging out, resting. There you go. So we'll catch you next week with a hangover.
Yes, you'll catch me one. Not next. The week after. The week after
with a hangover.
Yes, correct. Yep.
All right. Good stuff. I appreciate you as always, my brother. Have a great weekend.
All right, man. You too. Take care.
You got it. The great Manny Navarro and our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes reports.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
All right. Rosendo, by the way, you had an interesting question, but it's one that really cannot be answered by Manny or anybody else. I saw it, but I'm going to address it for you. He says, Manny, if you don't know if you cover this, but if Miami's offense is going to look like what's it going to look like during the crystal ball era? Do you expect more of a running attack or a passing attack? Rosendo, I can already tell you can expect a running game for sure. He's an offensive lineman at heart. So he's going to want to establish the run. But obviously, when you've got a quarterback like, TVD, you got to air the ball out, okay? But they will run the ball. Oh, they will focus on that offensive line, and they will run the hell out of the ball. And let me tell you, when those linemen come off the field after a game, I hope they're going to use Red Recover so they can feel better. In fact, I was talking to my man Sean last night, and he was like, because now he's been using the Red Recover wraps now for a couple of weeks, and he's got bone on bone. Okay, normally for those of us aches and pains, a little arthritis, maybe a little workout, soreness, all that, Red Recover helps you feel better. Bone on bone is hard because that's brutal. Well, for him, it feels better now. Bone on bone, he's using it for his knees in redrecover.com. And he also says he feels the blood flow, which is also the difference too. Makes his knees feel better. Even when he was on the plane now for several hours, normally he would be a lot stiffer, but because of using Red Recover, the knees feel better, and we're talking bone on bone. So we've been telling you about redrecover.com. I've been telling you about how I wear the hat every day to grow my hair. When I get back, I want to get one for my right shoulder because I definitely need that. Hayden Hurst, tight end for the Bengals, uses Red Recover as part of his daily program to optimize performances on Sunday. You can listen to his testimonial at redrecover.com. You can watch the blogs, the video blogs, and read the blogs that are there also at the same time. Red Recover is ideal for anybody suffering from chronic pain, such as arthritis, neck, or lower back discomfort. 15 minutes daily will bring about tremendous relief. You'll feel better without using any medication. Red Recover is 100% natural with no side effects, so it's great for the kids as they're running around all summer long, strains and sprains. Use Red Recover for them to heal. You're working out, you know how you feel sore. And for those of us, I'm actually, when I get back from Vegas here, I'm actually going to start working out. And I know I'm going to need Red Recover after to recover and feel better. Look, Red Recover is wearable red and infrared wraps in the market with 3 different light wavelengths to help you optimize and recover performance. Red Recover is 100% natural and no side effects. Neck pains, back pains, shoulder, elbows, knees. You want to grow your hair, ankles. They've got the wraps for everything. They've got them for the dogs too. Front shoulders, back shoulders, the hips. As you know, some of the dogs, as they get older, it helps them too at the same time. Go to redrecover.com. Use our code Big O. You will get 10% off redrecover.com. You will love it. Trust me. It is awesome. It works. Okay? It works. And for the money, it's a joke too, to save yourself from that pain. That is just absolutely fantastic. So take advantage. redrecover.com. All right. What else do we have going on in the world of sports? Let's see here. Yes, there we go. All right. What else do we have here? We will get Omar Kelly here at 11:30. We will talk to Al Bernstein at noon. Cameron Wolf at 12:30. By the way, kudos to the Las Vegas Raiders. Yesterday, they hired the first black female as team president in Sandra Douglas Morgan. And I was talking to a buddy of mine about this. And here's the thing about this. That's normal. That's the amazing part about the Raiders organization. And this goes back to the days of Al Davis in the 60s in the AFL. You know, the NFL was not there wasn't parity when it came to color in the NFL. They would only have maybe 2, possibly 4 black players on NFL teams back in the 50s into the 60s. Why? Well, you know, it is what it is. You can do the math, right? But they wouldn't have 3 players. They wouldn't have 1. They'd have 2 or 4. You know why? So they can room together. AFL comes in. They didn't care where the players came from. Al Davis was one of the leading recruiters because he was the lead scout for the Raiders. And he was going to black colleges all over the country. And once the AFL was then so open, so inclusive to all, then that became, you know, a thing for the black players. They were able to go to the AFL to seek work because the NFL was not giving them those opportunities. The Raiders were pioneers. You know, the Raiders gave Art Shell a job. He was the first black head coach in the NFL. The Raiders gave Tom Flores a job, the first Hispanic coach head coach in the NFL, which, by the way, he has 2 titles. They have had women in their front office in the past. Okay. And now they hired a black woman to be the lead in their front office. So they've had women from all colors. They've had men from all colors, all nationalities. You know, what the Raiders did yesterday by hiring Mrs. Morgan was not surprising because they have been the most inclusive organization in the history of the NFL, and it dates back all the way to the 60s. And they have set such a great example. It's a real shame that the rest of the NFL has not been as inclusive as the Raiders have been since the 60s. Think about that, okay? Because you watch our Dolphins, they're as inclusive as it gets. But, you know, that's always been a problem in this league for so long. But it's never, ever been a problem for the Oakland, Los Angeles, or Las Vegas Raiders. They have always been the franchise that has been willing to do the things that others are not willing to do and be the pioneers and open the doors and say yes to black players, say yes to women, say yes to black women, say yes to Hispanic coaches. So pretty impressive yesterday with Sandra Douglas Morgan becoming the Raiders team president and the first black female to become team president. By the way, I'm watching the news. You know, I'm sorry, I'm a man, so I in the end I have to give you a male comment in all this. So I'm watching the news from Nevada yesterday, and they also were showing Miss Nevada. I got to tell you, Sandra Douglas Morgan is better looking than Miss Nevada that they showed yesterday. I just had to, they was the same newscast, and you know, they showed her, and then they went into some story about Miss Nevada, and I'm like, wait a minute, the Raiders just hired a lady that is better looking than Miss Nevada. That's impressive. There you go. All right. Omar Kelly and our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report is next.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. The Big O Radio Show is home for the hardcore Dolphins fan. That's why we give you Omar Kelly twice a week. Buckle up. It's time for the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show.
Back. There we are. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. That is Omar Kelly. Oh, how you doing, my man?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Very good, very good. I don't know if you heard leading into you.
I did.
Yeah, the Raiders are they're an interesting bunch, right? Because they've always had characters as players.
They're renegades, pioneers,
right?
Change makers, and they'll always continue to be that. That's in the bloodlines of that franchise.
But it's pretty cool because think about it
not pretty cool. It's amazing
in a league that isn't very inclusive. Jesus Christ, dude! Like they are the trendsetters. You know what I mean? I give Stephen Ross a lot of credit because compared to the rest of the league, he is also a very inclusive person too in his organization. But that's now. I'm talking the Raiders. This shit's been going on since the '60s.
This is their second female executive.
Right. But it's a Latin coach. It's a black coach. They hired.
Absolutely. I would say only the Steelers are in the neighborhood of groundbreaking, pioneering, change creating. Yes. And I give Steve Ross all the respect that he deserves because he really makes an effort. And I can tell you, I started covering the team in 2007, and before it was even popular to make a push for women to be part of organizations, NFL organizations, and be part of NFL staffs and be part of the equipment team and be part of the training staff, Steve Ross was way ahead of the curve and was a pioneer, and women just popped up everywhere in that organization before it was popular. And not a lot of people will acknowledge this now because there's a lot of shame associated with it, especially in this cancel culture. But when Donna Ponte was running the business side of the organization, people consistently threw stones at the organization, laughed at them, mocked them for Donna Ponte's role in the organization. Now, everybody can't find a qualified woman fast enough.
Yeah, no, you're right about that, and that was the Donna Ponte. The problem with the Donna Ponte thing was that she came in an era, and it's not her fault. It was just so dysfunctional, and he was part.
I don't know if I would say it's not her fault because she played a nice, significant role in it.
I get that, but what I'm saying is she joined in, and so she joined in a time that there wasn't balance in the organization. So she went to a place that was dysfunctional, and she then joined in on the dysfunction. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, that's fair. She contributed to the dysfunction as well. Donna Ponte is not innocent. Her hands are not clean. So there are a lot of things that I hope that she learned and changed during that era because she was very cold and not personable, and I don't think that works primarily in this market.
No, you're right about that. I mean, I remember there was a very famous meme that was kind of floating around with Joe Philbin and Donna Ponte. Do you remember that meme?
No, I don't. I don't have a clue what you're talking about, to be honest.
You have no idea? Well, here on the show, we are on top of it all the time, right? So Sean, the great Sean Stanley, is going to bring up it was one of those memes that was floating around with Donna Ponte and Joe Philbin that it was entertaining. I'm surprised you never saw it.
No, I've never seen that, to be honest.
You don't remember it or anything, huh?
No.
Then here you go.
Never seen. What's the? I can't. It's so small. I can't really see. What's the gist of it? Oh, Friends with Ben. Okay, all right. No, they were not.
I know they weren't. It's just You know, it was
yeah. That was a really dysfunctional era. That was a really dysfunctional era, and I couldn't even begin to start with what was wrong with organization back then.
I just love how Sean is focusing in.
Yeah. I mean, I've covered a lot. Like, if I ranked the dysfunctional eras.
Oh God.
I mean, think about it. I dealt with and covered a lot.
Well, most of it, because you've covered.
But you know what was not fair
you've covered the shit part of the Dolphins. Actually, unfortunately, that's the thing. You didn't even get to cover Jason and Zach in those years. Instead,
yes,
right after that, which is
in defense of that era, that season. When I think about that season, I think about Bullygate.
Right.
And they were having a pretty decent season right up until Bullygate like sideswiped them like an 18-wheeler. And after that, it was just like, oh my God, how do we even like maintain, sustain, survive? And, you know, they even managed, I believe, to stay in the playoff mix up until like the final period or season or week. I think some Buffalo loss, as all Buffalo losses usually do, just spoiled or ended their season traumatically. But yeah, man. And imagine, and that season was so painful. Imagine CNN being in your locker room for a good month.
Oh God.
CNN and all those news outlets, and you know, it's just woo!
We had Jimmy and Danny and Jimmy, and that was dysfunctional, obviously. Because
hold on, wait a minute. Jimmy and Danny and Jimmy. Okay, because of the dysfunctional relationship between Danny and Jimmy.
Right, Jimmy Johnson and Dan Marino was dysfunctional, bro. Come on,
Okay,
I mean, I wanted to get rid of him, and then I can't get rid of him. Well, I'll take away your Irving, and I'll take away your Byers, and I'll take away your Kirby, and I'll take away your audibles, and you know, it was like a shit show. But that was dysfunctional. Then we had the Wani Spielman dysfunction, right?
They just made bad decisions. I don't know if they were dysfunctional.
Oh no, there was a fight over power. Remember that?
Yes, there's always a fight over power. There will always be a fight over power.
Wannstedt stole the power back from him in that final year, and then got him, and then that got himself fired after that, and then Spielman went off to Minnesota after that. But my point is that was also a dysfunction. Now, is it as bad as like Bullygate or all that? No, of course not. But I mean, it was different dysfunctions during that time.
Saban wasn't dysfunction. His exit was just a little bit.
No. His wasn't a dysfunction at all. It was just
Cameron was dysfunctional.
Who?
The early period of Parcells was not dysfunctional. Then
it was after.
Then when he left, because he was just like, I can't deal with this no more. I don't want to.
The Jeff Ireland stuff obviously made it.
The Jeff Ireland was dysfunctional era.
Because it was Jeff Ireland and Sperano dysfunction. Then we had the Ireland Philbin
dysfunction,
right? And then we moved on to the Cam Cameron dysfunction.
No. We had Cam Cameron before that.
Before. Okay, we had the Cam Cameron.
We had the Philbin Ireland dysfunction. Then we had Dennis Hickey come in, try to clean it up. Then Tannenbaum shanks Dennis Hickey for his job,
right,
and fires him a year later.
Which Dennis Hickey did not do a bad job. I don't want Dennis Hickey getting trashed. He did a good job.
And then Donna Ponte was in the Ireland era, and then Tannenbaum pushed a Ponte out.
Yeah.
And now where are we at now? Tannenbaum gets shanked.
Right.
Tannenbaum hires Gase. Gase and Tannenbaum have power struggle. Tannenbaum gets shanked. Gase gets whacked. Chris Greer gets elevated. He's like the guy holding the bag. And Chris Greer hires
And now we have the flow
Flores,
dysfunction. The flow dysfunction, yes.
Flo and the organization go to war for apparently 2 years. And here we are.
Yeah. Here we are. So now we're hoping
2 decades of mediocrity.
We're hoping the dysfunction train is done and they can move forward. That's the one thing I will say, that it does look like for the first time, like everything's on the same page, at least. Kind of looks like it. So we'll see. No, it does.
Bro, when I see it, I'll believe it, because I've heard so much of that.
It's whatever you hear is one thing. What you're seeing right now.
Bro, we ain't seen nothing. They haven't played a game. They haven't
What are you
kicked
talking
off
about?
anything.
When
they haven't put on pads. Stop.
When have you ever seen? No. You're not listening to me. You're not listening to me. When have you seen the general manager and the head coach get along the way they get along? Tell me that it does not look good right now. Never. I've never seen that. I haven't seen I have never seen that
all the time on the surface level, all the time, because you're only looking at the surface level. All the time.
No. I'm certainly not looking only at the surface level.
We didn't know there was a Greer Flores problem until Deshaun Watson.
No. You didn't know.
Okay.
I knew. Because I'm the one that told you all year long he's running roughshod.
In a year, and I said when Deshaun Watson surfaced. So in 2019, you didn't know. In 2020, you didn't know. Then all of a sudden, 2021, there's so much dysfunction, so much issues, blah, 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 blah. There's always going to be a power struggle. There's always going to be a crisis that needs to be put out. There's always going to be an era of, it's not my fault, it's his fault. It's the finger pointing.
I understand that, but I've never seen this kind of a relationship from the get-go.
Bro, we haven't seen them kick off. When they kick off a football,
I get that. I get
a game
that.
that matters.
I get
then we
that.
could judge.
I get that, but everything else has kind of been always kind of an eggshell type of situation.
Oh my God.
I've never seen this kind of camaraderie.
It's always harmony. I could show you pictures in the Sun Sentinel system of Chris Greer and Brian Flores talking.
Not Chris. No, I'm talking about before. Listen, with Chris Greer, if you can't get along with Chris Greer, then I know you have a problem. It's not Chris Greer. I know you have.
That is correct. I will testify to that. If you can't get along with Chris Greer, you are the problem.
Right. I'm talking about prior to Chris Greer. I'm talking about all this other messes in the past.
It's always
the Jimmy and Danny thing did not start off on the right foot. The Danny and Wanstead thing did not start off on the right foot. The Wanstead and Spielman thing was always kind of an uneasy thing because one guy's trying to be a personnel guy and the coach was trying to meddle in. And so we always had dysfunction.
When is that not the case?
You know what? I'll give you props on this one. The Cam Cameron, Randy Mueller crap did start off like all with roses and everything and all that.
Always start off.
No. Saban and Mueller did not start off that way, my brother. Because Mueller was like, okay, coach, I've got all the draft reports. Oh, great. That's nice, Randy. Here's my draft reports. Bam. No, it did not start off that way, my brother. Okay, so I disagree with you. Most of the time it hasn't. I'll agree with you on the one that I just gave you because that one was so fresh. There was no stains from the other ones. Notice what I keep telling you. It was one rollover from another rollover from another rollover. So it was human Django. And it never started off well because there was always that uneasiness right from the get-go.
When you keep having or entering or fostering in toxic relationships, at some point, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, it's me. I need to change. And if the Dolphins haven't gotten to that point yet, God help them. Because
if it continues, it's because it happens at the top. Because the owner allows it. The owner allows it to happen because it doesn't happen with the Miami Heat. Just doesn't happen.
That's different. Name an organization in the NFL that operates like the Miami Heat.
Oh, the Patriots.
Man, screw them.
It's one way, and then that's it. The Steelers.
Screw them. They're Tom Brady made.
The Steelers. Rooney's.
All right. I'll accept that. I will not accept the Patriots. That's bullcrap.
It is Belichick's way or the highway, bro.
I just did a ranking, finally, just for you, of my NFL offseason. I don't even know if it's up on the Sunset Note now.
I'll look for it.
I started with the AFC. And, yes, it is. Which teams in the AFC had the best offseason? You know, I don't want to disclose where I have the Miami Dolphins.
You better have them at the top, bitch.
But the Patriots, they had the worst offseason in the AFC.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dude, they didn't even hire an offensive coordinator. Bro. I can't wait to see this shit show this year. I can't wait to see this, dude.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I have them dead last in the AFC and might be in the NFL.
You're very fair to the Patriots. I bet you were unfair to the goddamn Dolphins, but I bet you were fair to the Patriots.
Listen, I only have a couple of teams ahead of the Miami Dolphins in terms of where they finish. And I put out a tweet which was for you. Okay? When I did this ranking, in the back of my mind, I kept thinking about Big O. Big O's going to get on me. Big O's going to get on me. And then, so what I said to myself when I did this rankings, I said, here's how I'm going to stack them up. One, the barometer is, did I make myself a Super Bowl contender this offseason? That's the barometer, okay? Or did I keep myself a Super Bowl contender? That's the bar. And then when I sat there and ranked teams up that were in the same neighborhood, the question I asked myself was, can you whoop me? Do you remember that when you were growing up? Can you whoop me? Like if you got beef with somebody, can you whoop me? And the bottom line is, if you can whoop me, then you come bring it. So I had to put the Miami Dolphins below the Buffalo Bills because of this.
I'm looking at it now.
Because of this simple question, can you whoop me? If the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins squared off right now, Josh Allen would walk up into his face and say, can you whoop me? What you gonna do?
So if the Dolphins beat the Bills, your ranking sucks.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
And they don't even have to
make sure of that. I just want to make sure.
They don't have, I think the Bills with the biggest loss is Dable. And that's a huge loss. I'm a huge Dable fan. You know that. I think I'm curious to see what he's going to do with Daniel Jones, but I'm a big Dable fan. I would argue to anybody anybody who knows the Miami Dolphins has covered the Miami Dolphins. Dable's Dolphins in 2011 had the potential to be the best offense that this organization's had since I covered them. Now, they had a slow start. They had to change a quarterback. But when they got going, they got going.
Right.
But Chan Gailey's team of 2020 was the best. But under them,
but judging an offseason really has nothing to do with whether you can beat a team or not. It's really judging on how much you improved from one year to the next.
Yes, and I think they did. They had two key losses.
You have to think that they added more than the Bills did. Are they better than the Bills? Of course not. We know the Bills are the class of the division.
But here's the thing. I think the Bills are probably one of 4 teams that put themselves or kept themselves in championship contender status.
Cool. Yes.
Whereas the Dolphins put themselves in the playoff neighborhood.
Yes, I agree.
And only the homerest of homers, the diehardest of diehards, would say in Delusion Land that this Dolphins team is a Super Bowl contender. Now,
clearly they're a Super Bowl contender. Come on, of course. You'll be covering the Dolphins in Arizona in February. What's wrong with you? Of course.
Could they be? Absolutely. Because if they have a top 5 rushing attack and a top 5 defense, and Tua stays healthy for an entire season, and Tariq is Tariq, yeah, they can make it to the Super Bowl. And
be nice.
And so it's possible, which is why they're ranked high. But I can't put them in the title contender conversation. Not yet. Not just yet.
All right. Don't forget, folks, EJD Construction. If you're looking for custom home construction, you got to call the great people at EJD Construction, 305-433-4843. Custom home construction, major home remodeling, fully insured, $2 million, $1 million workers' comp. Do not hire anybody that is not insured to work in your home. They know the laws better than you do. If they get injured in your home while they're trying to repair it, they can sue you. So make sure you hire companies that are responsible. No, seriously. I mean, you got companies that are picking up 3 or 4 guys at Home Depot and then showing up at your house.
Well,
that's not the company you want to hire.
I had a renovation and a guy fell off my roof.
Yeah, well, and if they're not insured, you're screwed. So make sure you call EJD Construction, or if you don't call EJD Construction, make sure you call somebody incredibly responsible, and they will save you a lot of money. Listen, quality work, affordability, shell construction in-house. That's how they keep their costs down. Tell them that Big O sent you. You want to remodel that kitchen. You want to add an addition to the home, a second floor. You call EJD Construction.
Addition to the way to go now.
Yeah, that's right. 305.
Damn expensive.
That's right. 305-433-4843. Follow Omar on Twitter at Omar Kelly, and make sure you subscribe to the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Oh, as always, I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for taking some time, and enjoy the weekend, my friend.
All right.
Got it. There you go. The great Omar Kelly and our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report with Omar Kelly. For additions, home remodeling, or custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is the custom home builder and general contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
By the way, again, the show is brought to you by Craig Zins, Acura of Pembroke Pines. They are celebrating their 14th anniversary, man. 14 years, and for the last 12 years, they've been the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Take it from a man that has had 3 different Acuras in the family. My daughter's driven an Acura. My wife drives an Acura. I've driven the Acura, folks. I'm waiting for next year for the electric to come out, and I will get it. And right now, we've got 2023 models, man. The Integra is in at $369 a month. If you're looking for 2022 models, got the TLX package, technology package, $479. We've got certified pre-owned vehicles with financing as low as 0.99% on the RDX, the MDX, the ILX, the TLX. Get on down there and go see Larry Schlossberg, Pat Nasto, Tony Stampone, and all the great people out there at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Finest dealership in the business, baby. It is Craig Zins, Acura of Pembroke Pines. All right, later on the show, we're going to talk to Cameron Wolf. We'll get our KSDT, CPA, Miami Dolphins, and NFL report. I got a couple things also that I want to get to here on the program. Some NFL notes, a couple of baseball notes, a couple of funny stories. I want a little music notes too on top of all of that. But you know what's also always music to my ears is the sweet science of boxing. So we're going to have a little fun. We've got Magsayo and Vargas coming up. Showtime, baby. You know, Showtime this weekend is wrapping up 7 title fights since March. So for those of you out there, you want some action, you're going to get it on Showtime. And tomorrow on the 9th, we're going to have Vargas and Magsayo taking the ring. It's going to be a featherweight battle to remember. 2 undefeated guys. Somebody's going to walk away with a loss. And let me tell you, there's nothing sweeter than watching 2 undefeated fighters walk into that ring because the pride that goes behind those records is enormous. They don't want to add a 1 next to that 0. You've seen how Floyd Mayweather has polished up that record to keep it at 0 the entire time. Well, these guys want to do the same. Al Bernstein's going to join us, baby. The legend is going to join us. We're going to talk to him next.
Sports Grill on Bird Road, Miami Lakes, and their newest location in Doral is now hiring. If you're looking to join a great company and South Florida institution, give them a ring or drop an email. Sports Grill is hiring all kinds of positions from hostess to servers, bartenders, or join the kitchen staff to craft some great food for their amazing customers. Please send your resume to m.cruz@sportsgrillmiami.com or call 305-219-5726. That's 305-219-5726. Sports Grill. Good food, good drink, good friends.
Red, an infrared light, has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Red Recover can maximize your efforts by potentially improving cellular metabolism, blood circulation, and muscle recovery. Evolve your training and step into the new era of muscle recovery. Red Recover.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
We're going to talk a little boxing and Showtime this weekend. Just 2 undefeated fighters. The Magnifico, Mark the Magnifico Magsayo, taking on Ray Vargas. This is going to be a lot of fun on Showtime. Al Bernstein is ready to join us. Al, how you feeling, baby? You feeling good?
Very good. Here in San Antonio, Texas, we're going to have the fight you mentioned and 2 other matches as well. Triple header on Showtime, so it should be fun. Nice to join you.
And it's a pleasure. It's an honor for me to have you on. We've talked in the past over the years. I've been in the business for 32 years, so we've run into each other a couple of times, especially when I used to go out to Vegas a lot before for all the fights. So, Al, let's first of all, for you, since you've been at it for so long, what kind of a high is it for you when you walk into fight night? How is it for you nowadays since you've been to so many fights? And I was just talking about it like on Saturday night. This is Showtime's 7th title fight since March. I mean, they've been on a roll, giving fight fans one good fight card after another. And like you said, this one, there's several good fights on this fight card.
Yeah, we've had a really good stretch in the last couple of years. In which we've been fortunate to have meaningful fights and also good fights. And sometimes you have really good fights, but they may not rise to the level of the highest level for whatever reason. But we've been fortunate to kind of combine those. For me, I mean, I've been broadcasting since 1980, but my enthusiasm for doing it is the same as it was the first time I sat down ringside. I enjoy the process. I enjoy the sport. I enjoy doing the TV. And so, I think if you reach a point where it isn't exciting for you, where it isn't interesting, that's when you should stop doing it.
I'm with you there. I mean, listen, I've been doing this for 32 years. And now that I switched over from traditional radio to these digital platforms now, which is kind of the thing, but I still do it just like you with the same kind of enthusiasm. Now, let me ask you, Al.
Sure.
Has the MMA UFC inspired boxing a little bit? Am I being a little bit too much of a homer for boxing? But I almost get the feeling like boxing's kind of looked over at the octagon and said, well, they bust their ass to make sure they come up with the best fights on a consistent basis. Where in our sport here, at times, in decades past, we kind of let, the promoters kind of controlled things and stayed and kept their fighters away from some of the best fights, and we weren't treated to what we needed to get treated to. I almost get the feeling that there's been a little bit more urgency in the sport to, hey, we got to get the best fights going so we can get the most attention and give boxing fans what they want. Am I being a little homerish, or do you see a little bit of a change?
I don't know if it's MMA related, but I do think that boxing in the last year or so, I actually think coming out of in the last couple of years, boxing's done a better job of trying to make those kinds of fights. What makes boxing different than MMA is, there's two major bodies in MMA. There's UFC, which is the dominant one, and then there's Bellator. Within the ranks of their fighters, they can make any fights they want, and they control most of the sport. In boxing, we have more different interests, right? And you have 4 different organizing bodies making champions. So there's a lot, it's, I always call it laissez-faire capitalism run amok. It's, so it gets to be difficult. But boxing has done a better job in the last several years of putting a better product out there and trying to make the fights that matter. I especially noticed it coming out of the COVID period, where boxing got back into putting on shows a little quicker than some other sports. It was a little more logistically feasible with a boxing match to sequester it, and you only had 2 athletes involved. And boxing, I thought, made it's never a conscious decision by everyone because people are not necessarily working together, but somehow by osmosis, they all seem to kind of get on the same page and say, we're gonna really, really try to make these matches, if at all humanly possible. And for the most part, they've done it. And boxing boxing is more of a niche sport than it was 30 years ago. People make the claim that other than the NFL, every sport is a niche sport, right? To some degree. But so I don't expect boxing to reach a level that it did in the 80s when it was a halcyon time. But the sport has made a lot of strides in the last 3 or 4 or 5 years of, I think, kind of reestablishing itself with fans.
Yeah, but I will always come back to people and say, yeah, it's a niche sport, but it's still one of the better worldwide sports. And that's one of the things that when we put all the sports together, they're not all loved worldwide.
Absolutely.
Boxing,
that's where we get kind of jingoistic when we look at sports from an American viewpoint. The boxing has remained super viable internationally. And now the beauty now is, and you talked about being on a digital platform, which makes your broadcast experience different and expands your horizon. That's what's happened for all sports, and it's especially important for boxing because now the world has shrunk, and all the international bouts are available for the most part everywhere, and it's made it where the fact that it's global, we're all kind of tied into it.
Yeah. Don't tell the Mexicans that it's niche. Don't tell the Puerto Ricans that it's niched.
Or the UK. Yeah.
The UK. I was going to say the English. Don't tell the English it's niche. They love their boxing, dude. So yeah, it's one of those. We get that jingoistic viewpoint, but being a Cuban American that I am, hey man, I grew up with my dad, and every week he's getting Ring magazine, and we're off and running and watching the different matches, and obviously and watching Univision on Friday and Saturday nights, and watching the Mexican fighters, all of that. So I grew up with that. So for me, it's a little different because I do understand that the international attention to boxing is still there for a lot of fights. All right, so let's get to this fight. So Vargas has worked with Roach. Now Roach is on the other side. You've seen a lot of these fights. How much of that is really an advantage? They talked about it in the press conference, both guys. But you got plenty of experience, Al, in this. How much does Magnifico have a little bit of an advantage having Roach in his corner?
You know, the interesting thing about this fight is it's a meeting of Nacho Beristain, who's training Vargas, the great Mexican trainer, against Freddie Roach. They've had their battles with Juan Manuel Marquez and Pacquiao. And I don't attribute too much to the, Roach having had some dealings with Vargas, because Nacho Beristain has been the primary influence for him. And I think what makes this fight interesting is the fact that it's very, we have a true boxer in Ray Vargas, tall, rangy, who'll have a height and reach advantage, even though he's coming up in weight. His dimensions for a 126 pounder, he was at 122. He's 5'10. He's got a long reach. He is kind of, a different body type. And Mark Magsayo is the true puncher in this fight. He's had fights where he's been behind on the scorecards, had to pull things out with a knockout, did that against Ceja. And so we have a true kind of different approaches here in the ring, and we're going to see which one of them ends up being the dominant one.
I almost feel like, because again, these are things that we got to talk about, and we say, is it a myth or is it real? Roach, is it myth or is it real? That is it an advantage? And I almost feel like Mark, is it real or is it a myth? Your victory against Gary Russell Jr. So a lot of people are wondering, okay, well, maybe you got lucky there, and let's see what you do now, against Vargas. So he's kind of, you might have a guy in Mark coming into that ring with a little bit of a chip on his shoulders, because a lot of people aren't believing what he did against Russell. What do you feel about that?
Well, yeah, the irony is you win a world title against one of the longest reigning champions that people didn't think was beatable at that point, although Vasily Lomachenko beat him, and certainly, but other fighters didn't. And yet you're being questioned. And the reason he's being questioned, quite frankly, is for people that didn't see Gary Russell Jr. went to that fight with an injured shoulder. Even said before the fight that he had an injury. He didn't define what it was. And early in the fight, that injury hampered him. It became obvious he couldn't use his left hand almost at all in the fight. And Magsayo even realized that. And it actually wasn't a great performance by Mark Magsayo. He did win the fight, should have won the fight, and it was appropriate for him to win the fight. In fact, I thought the scorecards were too close. But Russell did such a good job of kind of neutering him in parts of the fight, and Magsayo didn't take advantage of as much as he should have of Russell being hampered, that it raises questions about Magsayo. And rightfully, because of the injury, people wonder, would he have won without it? So that has given Magsayo, motivation to show people that I'm not a one-hit wonder. I'm going to move forward. And it is interesting. For your first title defense, it's very tricky to have to face Vargas, who, as I said, is this tall, rangy fighter who is a clever boxer. He has not had a knockout in 6 years. He goes the distance. His fights go the distance. He outboxes you. And so it's intriguing for Magsayo to have this as his first, title defense. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Al Bernstein joining us here from Showtime. All right. So, and on the Vargas side, whether people talk about the layoff or they question, although they question the power going up 4 pounds because of his frame, Al, I maybe if it was a smaller frame, I might be a little bit concerned, but in a taller frame, I don't think the 4 pounds are that big a deal. So again, the myth or the reality of all of this, the layoff, the gaining of the pounds for Vargas, you tell me, how do you see that?
Yeah, for him to be 126 pounds with his body frame makes perfect sense. And here's the point. He's not a big puncher. He wasn't a big puncher at 122 pounds. He has some pop, But again, no knockout in 6 years. He wins by decision. That's how he wins. He's not inactive. He throws 64 punches per round. He's an active fighter. It's just that he doesn't knock people out. So you wouldn't expect him to knock somebody out at 126. The place where you would say a question was you move up, you're facing more powerful punchers. Magsayo is a powerful puncher. And I wouldn't be surprised to say that Magsayo is the biggest puncher that Vargas has thus far faced. He faced a good brand of opposition at 122 pounds. There weren't a lot of huge punchers mixed in, and now on top of that, he's going up in weight. So in terms of that, the moving up in weight could have an impact. But in terms of his performance, it shouldn't be anything that would be detrimental to him in any way.
Magsayo is plus 100. Vargas is minus 115. So Vegas has it pretty even. Magsayo is 24-0. Vargas 35-0. Who do you got, Al? What do you think happens?
Yeah, well, I don't like to make a prediction on fights that I announce, but I will say that what this fight is going to hinge on is can Vargas stay away from the power of Magsayo and peck and paw his way to a victory over rounds, or can Magsayo get to him with some power? I think that's what this fight is going to kind of hinge on.
It's going to be fun tomorrow night, Showtime. Make sure you catch it. Al, thank you for taking some time. We always appreciate it. I look forward to doing it again, my friend. Thank you very much. Enjoy the boxing.
Thank you. Nice to visit with you.
You got it. The great Al Bernstein, man. Talking a little Showtime boxing tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. Magsayo taking on Vargas. And again, we're talking about 59-0 stepping into the ring. That's a lot of fun. And by the way, there's 2 other fights on this card that are really, really good. So if you got a chance tomorrow, make sure you watch it, because that's going to be a lot of fun. You are definitely going to enjoy it. All right. We thank the great people at Showtime for making it happen for us here on the program. I told you every couple of weeks we will have a Showtime boxer, fighter. It could be from Bellator, trainer, analyst, something along those lines, and we'll be talking about all of that. So great to have Al Bernstein on, man. As I think we were talking about the HBO antennas from back in the day when I had it in my house back in the late 70s, early 80s, and Barry Tompkins and Al Bernstein were on those broadcasts. Let's tell you a little bit about Blue Chew. That's right, baby. The unique online service right now that is ready to help you, get you going, man. Are you struggling right now? Are you worn out when you get home from work and you're trying to get a little motivation, and you got the summer here, you want to be a little bit more vibrant, a little more active? Well, how about this? Let's help you with some confidence in the bedroom. And all you need to do is go to bluechew.com. How about something for free? You want something for free? I got it for you. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients in Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. That's right. You can take them anytime, day or night. You can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. The process is simple. Sign up to bluechew.com, consult one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part, it's all done online. No visit to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped directly to your door in a discreet package. That's right. And with Blue Chew, boy, first impressions are awesome impressions, or how about a lasting impression? That's what you want to make. And listen, the women love the confidence. You'll get some more confidence. All right. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for something free? Right now, we've got a special deal for all the Big O listeners out there. Try Blue Chew for free when you use our promo code BIG OW at checkout. Pay $5 shipping. That's bluechew.com, promo code BIG OW, and receive your first month for free. Bluechew.com. More details and important safety information there. We thank, of course, Blue Chew for sponsoring our show. Thank you, Blue Chew. All right. Let's see. I enjoy listening to this man talk boxing all day. Well, of course, it's Al Bernstein, bro. First time seeing Al without a tux. That's a good line. That's Big O's record against Omar on the show. That's funny. Was Al eating something? He sounded like he was slurring. No, I don't think. Did you see? I don't think he was eating. No, not at all. Oh, he was drinking. Yeah. He might have taken some water. Yeah. Have you been with your old lady for too long and need some motivation? Blue Chew. There you go. Hey, whatever it takes, man. Free month of fun. Big O might see Elvis this weekend. Did you ever? No, I have not. No, and I won't see it this week. I'm in Vegas. What am I? Am I going to see an Elvis impersonator? Maybe is what you're saying, but not the movie. I don't think I'll be watching the Elvis movie for a while, and especially for the next 8 more days that I'm here. Yeah, no, I don't think I'm going to be sitting down watching movies in Vegas. No, I got the strip 2 miles away. I know where I'm going. Anyways, we gotta go see some basketball, go get our credentials after this. We got some work to get done. All right. That's what we're gonna do. Remember, 855-912-1056 is the Welt and Rayom text line. That's 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the Welt and Rayom text line, reach out to us anytime there, 24 hours a day, because it is pretty much a 24-hour talk show. The Welt and Rayom text line. That's kind of what it is. I mean, what else do you want? Let me see. Jabroni Brisket, listen to Schefter. I don't know what that means. I don't know why somebody sent me a text that says that, but okay. Listen to Schefter. Jabroni Brisket. Not exactly sure. Where's Bitcoin at right now? Almost back to 22,000. Went back down from 20. It went down to 21,500, and now it went back up to almost 22,000 again. I'm baffled. I am. I'm not expecting it to go up like this. Maybe I have some Blue Chew. Maybe that's what happened to the market right now. Bitcoin got a little Blue Chew in the system, and it started to take off. That could be the case, folks. You never know. How about that? I didn't, I never thought of that, but maybe that's the case right now. That's the problem going on. Although it's a good thing, then it should continue to take some Blue Chew, because we got Polygon up 5.6%, Bitcoin up 4.5%. I love it. Ethereum's up 1%. Although Cadena's down, Polkadot's down, Illuvium's down, Mina's down, Immutable X is down, VeChain is up slightly, Hedera is up slightly, Kusama's down, Cardano's down, Gala's down, ApeCoin's down, Decentraland's down, Cody's down, Chainlink's down. I got me a little more Chainlink today. I did. Yeah. As long as if it stays in that $6 range, especially under 650, it gets into the 5s, the 6s. I am scooping up as much Chainlink as possible. Don't care. It might go down a little bit more, because I almost feel like we'll have another little dip, and then I'll just continue to scoop up and not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy that loves crypto, but Chainlink is one of my favorites, and I can't gather enough Chainlink, because I think that's one that's going to, it's $6 now. And I, as we say, I shit you not, I think Chainlink will be over $100 in a couple of years. So I am going to hang in there, because I think Chainlink is going to be an absolute freaking, it was already in the 50s. So, it's going to pass that eventually. And right now it's in the $6 range. I am scooping it up, man. Scooping up that Chainlink. Love it. So Chainlink is also down. There you go. All right. Just in case. But hey, man, the Bitcoin and Ethereum is in an amazing buying zone right now. Rosendo says interest rates are expected. Yeah, they're gonna give it another half point. I don't think they'll go 3/4, but I think they will raise the rates another half point. So yeah, that's why I don't think any of these pumps are real. I think they're all fake pumps. I do. I just don't think that there's too much crap going on in the world right now for anything to turn around with the quickness. Heat Fins puts $100 in eyes. I don't know what that means. Does that mean you went and got yourself $100 of chain link? Nice job by you if that's what you did. Good for you, bro. Will Cardano reach 50 in a couple years? Yeah, I can see $15, something like that. I don't know about 50, but I can see Cardano in the $12 to $15 range in a few years. I don't know about 50. That's a lot, dude. That's a lot. The market cap would have to be crazy at that point. I don't know about that. I mean, I hope so. I own a fat ass bag of Cardano, and I don't stop buying Cardano. By the way, I still buy a little Cardano. Are you kidding me? So I'm going to keep buying Cardano. And for those of you, by the way, that are taking your money off of exchanges and you're, going to the Trezor wallet or any of your other wallets, Trezor goes together with Exodus. Exodus gives you 4.91% on Cardano. Just looking out for you, man. You want to get it off the exchanges. You want to keep it on your cold wallet in Trezor, so it's offline, but yet you still get to stake it. Okay, on Exodus, and you pick up 4.91%, nearly 5% on your Cardano. I'm just looking out for you. That's all. That's all. You get to keep it on the cold storage, yet you still get to stake it because Exodus and Trezor work together. And by the way, Exodus also has staking for other coins too. Like I'm getting 1%, 1 point something for my VeChain, just a little over 1%. Not a big deal, but still getting some for my VeChain. So yeah. Big O, are you going to any of the Dolphin practices? Yes, we are. We're going to be at many Dolphin practices this year. Sean and I are going to be hitting the road. The show will go through a little bit of an adjustment during training camp because we may not be able to do the full show at one sitting. We may be doing multiple shows during the day. I may do something early in the morning and then come back in the afternoon after practice and do something after that. But yeah, you're going to see more video than you've ever seen from the Dolphins, from practice and all that, because that man there will be filming a lot of the stuff at practice. So you will see him over at practice and obviously press conferences and all those kind of things. You're going to see more of that now on the site. So we will take that next step now with the site, and we'll be able to move things around. It's digital, man. So we're not forced to be on live every day at a specific time. We can move things around when we have to. And for football season, we want to get out there a little bit more. So Sean and I will be at training camp, and we would love to meet you guys out there. So make sure you bother Sean a little bit. Big O, other than concerts, are you going to any other events while you're there? Just basketball and concerts, I don't think. I may go to the Kiss Museum because it's now completely open. So I can go check it out because there were parts of it that wasn't open when I went to the golf thing. So I may go over to the Kiss Museum. I don't know. It's just stupid stuff like that. I'm not really going to anything. I'm not going to the Blue Man concert or some kind of a play or, no, none of that stuff. It'll be sports and a couple of I'm not even going to the Journey concert. I'm not going to, because I'm actually Sean just corrected me. I thought we were leaving Friday night into Saturday. We're actually leaving late Thursday night, which is Friday morning at 1:00. So we're here Friday morning. So yeah, Friday's show is going to be an interesting thing. I don't know how we're going to do Friday's show, but we will try to do something next Friday. Yeah. I may do a show from, I don't know. That'll be screwed up. But either way, so yes, I won't be doing a lot of things that isn't, and I think the streak will continue. Vegas once again, and I still have never been to a strip club in Vegas. And I don't know how many times I've been to this place. It's well over 30 times. And so that will be out of no brothels, no strip clubs. What else no bachelor parties. I've never done a bachelor party in Vegas. What are the other things that it won't be in a drunken stupor. Won't be no call girls. All those things that like, the debauchery that normally people go to. No, I'm the idiot that wants to go to the Pinball Hall of Fame concerts, cover my sports and food. And I'm a happy camper. That's it. I'm a happy camper. Quick question. Have you ever been to a live UFC fight? And would you prefer going to a live UFC fight over boxing? Yes and no. No, I've never. No, I'm sorry. No, yeah, no, and yes. No, I've never been to a live UFC World Championship match. I've been to UFC matches that are like local, but not like a Vegas one, like a World Championship. I've been to several boxing. Now, here's the problem with your question. What boxing match am I going to, and what UFC match am I going to? You understand what I'm saying? So I'm definitely going to want to go to a boxing match over a UFC match if the boxing match is better. Now, if the UFC match is better than the boxing match that is available, then I'll go to the UFC match. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if they're both equal, wow, boxing will be I'm still old school in that sense. Yeah, I know you're MMA. You're full MMA. I know that. Yeah. And I know in general, probably for the audience, it's probably more important to go to the MMA one than the boxing one. But, yeah, and the undercards, yeah. Although the undercard this weekend is actually good. But yeah, no, yeah, it's kind of tough. Yeah. Are you smoking any pot out there? It's legal, I think. You think, right, John? Is that why you ask? You think? You think, right, John? You happen to be asking, right, John? You happen to be asking. Are you rolling a fatty out there, man? Last time I was in Vegas in 2008, I was lucky. I was able to go to the Star Trek Museum before it closed down. That was my debut. Really, I didn't. I would have loved to have gone to that. I didn't even know they had a Star Trek because I've been out here way before 2008. I didn't even know that it existed. I'm a loser. I could have gone to that, man. Was it cool? Tony, was it any good? Was it good? Was it worth it? That's actually pretty cool, man. All right. Do we have Cam Wolf or what? Send Cam a damn invite because obviously he's lost. By the way, Nature B is for me with 27 vitamins and amino acids, 28 minerals and powerful antioxidants. And I take it every day. I actually take it at night when I go to sleep. So that way it gets in my system overnight. And then by the time I wake up in the morning and it's potentiated. So the good thing about potentiation is that they already crack it. And that way it gets into your system as soon as possible. So it dissolves quickly and gets in there right away. And when we talk about plant pollen and it's grown in clean, green New Zealand, straight from Mother Nature, no guys in chemical and labs and creating chemicals and all that. No. Straight from Mother Nature, baby. You'll get sustained energy all day long, no fade in the afternoon. And of course, it improves digestion and regularity. And right now, folks, you can get 2 months, and the third month is for free and free shipping. So go to naturebee.com, use the code BIG. Buy 2 months, get the third month for free and free shipping right now. And listen, they've got all kinds of other, products. I've got the lip balm over there that I use because obviously it's dry out here. Always got to have that. They've got the soap. My wife loves the the wrinkle cream. I tell you about that all the time. Listen, Nature Bee will help those squeaky joints, old sports injuries, stronger nails, smoother skin, fuller hair. I've been taking Nature Bee for 20 years. I wonder if I also have fuller hair because of Nature Bee. Maybe. Go to naturebee.com and, of course, use the code Big O. Buy 2 months, get the third month for free and free shipping. Take advantage of the deal now. naturebee.com. Dude Johnny says, worked U2 tour. We did Vegas. They didn't play well. I remember Edge punching a door. He was so upset, almost fought Larry. Not sure why we had to restrain them. Ah, there you go. That sounds like a fun moment. All right, let's get into a little football talk with Cameron Wolf and our KSDT CPA Miami Dolphin and NFL report.
We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolf.
All right, Cam, how you doing, my man? You doing all right?
I'm good, man. How you feeling?
I'm in Vegas.
Yeah.
Even though I had to get up at 5 a.m. and boy, my fat ass getting up at 5 a.m, boy, that is just that's a mission. But hey, that's all right. That's all right. We all right. Listen, when you complain about what we do for a living,
right?
And now the way I get to do it, that I have more freedom than most
before, right?
Than most people do.
Yeah.
I'm hanging out in an Airbnb. You know what I'm saying, in Vegas.
Yeah.
We got
hit the tables yet.
We actually got a budget. They don't even have a budget in radio anymore. So,
right.
It's a blessing. So I can't.
That's awesome. I'm happy for you. I can see the smile on your face. I can tell you're a lot happier now.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. And I already caught a Morrissey concert 2 nights ago. So I'm happy, actually. So it's all good. Now, the question I have for you is, will Matt Rule be happy after the move he made for Baker Mayfield? Because I got to tell you something. Maybe it's the cynical guy in me or something. It looks to me like a dysfunctional and disastrous thing about to take place in Carolina with all of this. A desperate coach with a desperate move and a quarterback who's desperately trying to revive his career.
Big O, I can't wait to watch it. I'm rooting for
train wrecks, right? Train wrecks.
I root for storylines, man. And Carolina's a team I've covered a bunch. So I'm not gonna lie, coming into this offseason, I was down on Carolina. I'm like, oh man, they're not gonna have much to talk about. I'm gonna have to talk about Sam Darnold versus Matt Corral. That's boring, it's bad quarterbacks are boring. And so Matt Corral could be good, but right now we don't know much about him. Baker Mayfield, he's a lightning rod, right? And so you either hate him or you love him, and he's interesting. More than anything, he's interesting. Guess what their week 1 game is? They go
Browns.
They're playing the Browns.
I know.
And so I don't think I'll be there because I'll probably be here in Miami for the Patriots game. But that game is going to be fireworks because I can't wait to see how spicy Baker Mayfield is if he happens to win that game. Even before the game, press conference, he's going to have something to say. And so the one thing I will say about Carolina is they are interesting now. Matt Rule was always going to have questions about if he's going to be able to survive past this year. When you talk about potential hot seat coaches, he's one of the names that always ends up on the list. And so he's going to have that question throughout the year. Is he going to be able to do enough to save his job? Is Baker Mayfield going to be able to save his job? But I think that he has a better chance to save his job with Baker Mayfield than he did with Sam Darnold or Matt Corral. So I don't know if it's enough. It might not be enough. It might just be a crash and burn situation rather than just a drip into the ocean. But I think he'd rather go down this way rather than kind of, putting his hands up and say, you got me. And that's it.
Yeah.
So I think that's what you're looking at in Carolina. One thing people forget about Carolina had a really good defense last year. And so quarterback's still a big question, but they still have Christian McCaffrey. They still have DJ Moore, and they got better on the offensive line. They drafted the kid out of North Carolina State, Ike Iguanu. And
I like him, by the way.
They got a really good defense. And so not saying that it's going to work, but it would not shock me if somehow Baker uses this all as fuel and starts to look like the guy he did back in 2020, and they somehow try to make a push for a playoff spot.
Yeah, no, I would. My problem with all of this is, and I'm actually, I like Baker Mayfield. Like, I like his spunk. I like
the swag, right?
Yeah, the swag. I do like it. And I do enjoy the commercials. So I would like for him to be successful so he can keep the commercials going, actually, because they're actually pretty good.
You like the commercials?
I do. I do like the commercials.
I do not like the commercials.
I like the commercials a lot, actually. I enjoy them. But I don't know how this works. And that's my problem with all of this. I don't know if my problem with Baker is I'm still not convinced he's good enough.
Yeah.
And I never was from the get-go. I was never convinced. I wasn't big on them picking him a number 1 overall. Not that I give a shit about the Browns, but I just didn't look at him as a number 1 overall quarterback.
Yeah.
And so that was my thing with him. With Sam Darnold, I never even considered that guy out of USC. He was a turnover machine then, and he has continued to be a turnover machine. He's just one of those scatterbrain guys that I just would never trust. But Baker does have some balls. He does have, toughness to him and all that. And he proved it last year to that team playing, hurt, because you're not gifted as it is. The Lord did not bless you with incredible abilities. Hell, you couldn't run away from a cop.
Right.
There you are, and there's a cop catching you, years ago. So at Oklahoma. So, you're not Mr. Athleticism as it is. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those where I just have a problem thinking that this guy really is franchise. And in order for him to succeed, I think you have to have a monster team around him and great coaches to make things where he just can facilitate.
Right.
And if he can do that, like what they've done with Tannehill over in Tennessee at times, I think that's, but I don't think they have that in Carolina. Dog.
Right. You need him to be a souped up game manager, essentially. You need him to not lose you a game. And the one thing I will say is the offense that Carolina's trying to run with Ben McAdoo, what they're trying to do there, they want to get the ball out of his hand quickly. And we know the Ben McAdoo story. We saw that as a head coach. But that's
another part of this whole mess.
Yes.
Those
if people don't remember, but Ben McAdoo actually 2 or 3 years ago when he was a Giants head coach, because this was a year the Giants, I didn't think, ended up taking Daniel Jones in that draft, right? Was he in that same draft?
Yeah.
And so they asked him about his rankings, I think afterwards, or maybe after he got fired, and he had Baker ranked 6th among all 6 quarterbacks in that draft. And he talked about why he wouldn't draft him, and he thought that his arm wasn't strong enough for a guy, and you can't draft a guy just off moxie. And now he's the guy who's got to save Baker Mayfield. So it's funny how life brings us back to our decisions. So that'll be fun to watch. In that first conversation in Ben McAdoo's office with Baker, I'm sure he's going to hold his tongue because that's what Baker does, right? We'll have nothing to say. So that's going to be another fun element there. But Ben McAdoo's offense, what they're trying to run is that quick twitch, don't be a hero offense. And so in theory, that's what Baker should be his skill set up for. The problem is he thinks he's Patrick Mahomes. He walks around like he's Patrick Mahomes. He talks like he's Patrick Mahomes, but his game is like Baker Mayfield. And so hopefully this humbles him to an extent. The fact that he had almost no trade interest, the fact that he had to take a $3.5 million pay cut just to get a team to trade for him, hopefully that humbles him a little bit and he realizes his skill set. But I'm not confident. And I think the only way Baker Mayfield is going to be successful is if he figures out that he is truly Baker Mayfield and not better than he thinks he is.
Yeah, that to me is going to be the whole deal to it. And remember, he played with the best running game in the NFL last year.
Yeah, with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt.
He's not going to have that luxury now.
Mr. McCaffrey's healthy. he may be the best running back in football. So they do have a good running game there. Offensive line's not quite as good, but they're getting better. I would argue he has better receivers. I love DJ Moore. I think DJ Moore is one of the most underrated receivers in the league. Robbie Anderson, whenever he's not, if he and Baker can finally get over whatever their issues are, maybe he ends up being a deep threat for him. And we got to remember back in 2020, Baker did lead the Browns to the playoffs. So it's not like this is not, out of the far stretched realm of possibilities. It just, they're going to have to all be on their P's and Q's. So I see a path, but it's not a clear path. I wouldn't bet on it. But it's not, I like their path now better than I would have liked it with Sam Darnold. I did not want to watch any Sam Darnold football.
Let me ask you something. Do the Raiders get enough love for how inclusive they've been as an organization since the 60s? Because they were part of the AFL, and obviously the AFL gave black players the opportunities that the NFL rarely gave. Because I don't know if you know the story, but back in the day, the NFL only had 2 or 4 black players on a team. They wouldn't have 1, and they wouldn't have 3. Why? Because they wanted the 2 black players to room with each other instead of. But in the AFL, Al Davis and the Raiders and the Chargers, they did something different, because the NFL had players room together, but they had them room as whites or blacks. Right. Well, in the AFL, they're the ones that started where you hung out in your position group. Right. So it didn't matter what it was. You were going to hang out with your position group, whatever it was. And obviously in the AFL, they had a ton of black players compared to the NFL. And then the NFL said, I think we better go to those black colleges and start looking at some talent. Because that Abner Haynes guy, I wish we had him. That kind of shit started developing, and they were like freaking out. So, and then came Art Shell. Then comes Tom Flores, the Hispanic coach who has 2 titles with them. They already had a woman in the front office as it is before. Now they hired a black woman for the first black woman, which, by the way, I also want to throw in a caveat. I'm here in Vegas. He's laughing already. And they had a story of Miss Nevada.
Where is this going, Big O?
I want you to know Sandra Douglas Morgan was hotter than Miss Nevada. I'm just saying. I mean, that's impressive, okay? But anyway, as I digress, the Raiders, considering that this is a league that needs to learn to be more inclusive like the NBA, and like the rest of the world should be,
right?
The Raiders are actually freaks in a league that has not been known to be inclusive.
Yeah, you got to give the Raiders credit because, this is something that's very important to me, the topic of inclusion in these areas. And you got to look at it. The first black GM, Art Shell there for the Raiders. You got a black female president. I think she's only the 3rd or 4th black president we've had in the NFL, and definitely the first black female president. And you got to look at the Raiders, and they haven't always been successful on the field, but they always have been willing to test a barrier. Like even this offseason, he didn't get signed, but they worked out Colin Kaepernick, the first team to work out Colin Kaepernick in 4 or 5 years. And so they're always willing to get outside of the societal norms to try different things. Now, I will say the Raiders are going through a interesting period because they've already fired 2 presidents over the last year.
Yeah.
And so they've been in a lot of turmoil. And
the HR person they hired also yesterday, she came from the Venetian. Right here from the hotel, from the Venetian. So,
and the president they just hired is from the gaming commission as well. So they're tapping a lot into the Vegas gaming commission. And I guess it makes sense because that's what Vegas is popular for. So I guess, but
it's really smart because she's well entrenched with the business side of this town.
Right.
So you need to extract money from this town, and that's a great way, and that's a bridge right there. Yeah.
But it's not lost on me that they are hiring a black woman to fix their issues essentially. Now I'm still happy about the move. I think that it's going to be excellent. Hopefully it leads to more and more progress. But hopefully,
by the way, they're not token moves.
No, these are people exactly. And that's
great. Since the '60s, they've been doing this since the '60s. This is not trying to appease anybody or a PR move or any of that shit.
Yeah.
I could say that if it was the Redskins. And I
Right.
would probably say that if
Right.
it was the Redskins.
Right.
But the Raiders, huh? Oh, the Commanders. I'm sorry. Well, but the
Commanders.
But the Raiders, yeah, I know. But the Raiders set the example, and so they're not bullshitting when they give a minority a job. It's because they're giving that minority the power to have that job too.
Right, right. Look at her resume. This isn't a token hire. She's done this for a long period of time. Her husband played in the NFL, so it's not like she doesn't know football. It's not like she's just a business person coming through. Got a law degree. She's coming through. A lot of the gaming commission in Vegas. She's been in Vegas for 20 years, so she knows the area. So there's a lot of things that make sense about this hire, other than her just being a black.
She should also be Miss Nevada. I'm just saying. I just throwing that out there. I'm just saying.
Let her be focused on her chop for the job.
Go pull up Sandra Douglas Morgan and go pull up Miss Nevada.
Right.
Tell me I'm wrong. I
haven't seen Miss Nevada. Sandra, she's a very, very, very attractive young lady.
Nothing wrong with Miss Nevada.
Right.
But Mrs. Morgan is just.
But my point is that I think that she's gonna be good at her job.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Her resume speaks for itself, and hopefully it's moving the Raiders into the right direction. Period. Like I said, they have been historic and setting trends for a team for a long time, and I'm pumped about it. But they're also currently in the current era in a very important period because they went and got Devontae Adams via trade. They went and got
they're a good team.
Chandler Jones. This is a team, and I think that in that wide open AFC West, I wouldn't be shocked if any of those four teams come out and win a division. And so they got a new GM who I think is going to be a really good guy, and Dave Ziegler there coming from the Patriots, but does things his own way. And so I think he's going to be a great fit there. Josh McDaniels getting his second shot. So it's a new era of Raiders football. And so I think that, hopefully this shifts to a positive era for them. But I think the move's a good move. I think it's a good sign of positivity the Raiders desperately needed over the last 3 months of negativity. And we'll kind of see how it goes. Hopefully,
listen, they obviously need to vet who they pick because
not a lot of draft picks. That's why they got a new GM and head coach. Yeah, the old GM and head coach couldn't pick guys who could stay out of legal trouble.
Yeah, man. I mean, if you're gonna invest and you're gonna be part of a community, you don't want to start drafting players that are doing some of the crap that they did off the field. That was a really bad year. Considering they had a really good year on the field,
right?
They couldn't enjoy their success on the field because it was all tarnished by everything that happened off the field. And that and let me tell you something. And I'm sure you've seen it, Cam.
Yeah.
You come and see their stadium and their practice facility and everything everything is first class, dude. It looks
amazing.
It's state of the art. It looks fantastic.
And it's a flip. Because have you ever been to the old black hole?
Yeah.
It was literally a black hole.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I know. I've been there.
It was dope. But there was only one elevator down. It would take you like 20 minutes to get down. It was leaking in certain places. Don't go there at night. It was a whole element in it. And so the whole stadium is flipped. I was there for the Pro Bowl, and it's probably the top 2 or 3 nicest stadiums in the league now.
Yeah. I went even for. I remember I lived out in San Fran for a while, so I lived when Bonds was still in a Giant, and the Bash Brothers were in the Bay. So so it was back in '97, so they were still there. Bonds was an asshole, by the way, because he always he always slept in the damn pre-game. He was always sleeping in the trainer's room, and you never got access to him. Now,
the closer to the Roy's, the better, right?
Yeah. Although I gotta say, I did get it. Bonds was really nice because I had a friend of mine that had connections. She hooked me up with Bonds and Bonilla in one interview, which was like,
really?
Yeah. I got along great with Bobby when he was down here. When Bobby was in Miami, I know Bobby had issues with other people. I could never complain about Bobby. He was always great to me. But yeah, Barry was. You would want to talk to Barry, and he was always sleeping in the in the trainer's room back in the
Got to
day.
slip the roids off, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And dude, Candlestick was the worst. You had to sit in the sun. You sat in the shade and you froze your ass off in the middle of the summer, bro. You were like, what the hell is this? It's July and there's this wind coming right through Candlestick. That was brutal, dude. And and the Oakland Stadium was dog crap. Dog crap. It's still dog crap.
Yeah.
Hell, we'll see if the A's end up in Vegas.
Maybe. I think Oakland, hopefully Oakland keeps one of those teams. I actually, surprisingly, people always talk about it. I like Oakland, the city. Like every time we would go out to the Bay for a trip, whether it be the 49ers game or, whatever's going on, the Oakland game when they were back there, I would always stay in Oakland. And so, or I would always spend time in Oakland. I wouldn't stay in Oakland. I would stay in San Fran and then spend a lot of time over in Oakland because I had good friends that were from that area. And so a lot of people were afraid to be in that area. But to me, you felt a lot of the culture in Oakland. You just had to be careful what areas of Oakland you went at certain times of night. And so I think that was my perspective of that. And I always appreciated Oakland for its authenticity for the Bay. Bay is really, San Fran a lot of times is geared to the tourists and a lot of the tech people who are there. The Bay, you found the real people. And so that's what I always seek when I go to places. Like I said, but the stadiums, no. If I'm living in a stadium, I want the stadium to be bougie. I want the culture to be real. I want the stadium to be bougie. I want everything nice. I don't want any holes. I don't want
That's right. I was in Tiburon when I lived in San Fran. I lived in Tiburon, which when you go through the Golden Gate, Sausalito's the first island.
Yeah.
Tiburon's the next island.
Right.
And have you ever been to Key Biscayne here in Miami?
Yeah. I used to live in that.
I tell everybody when they ask me what's Tiburon, I say it's Key Biscayne with mountains.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
If you, I don't know if you've been to Tiburon. I'm sure you've been to Sausalito, but Tiburon is basically Key Biscayne with mountains. It was really, really nice. So it was bougie. So yeah. Well, what are you gonna do, bro? You know what I mean?
You like some bougie things, you like some culture things. Yeah, a little dib and dab, like
hey, let me tell you something.
Like for example, on vacations, right? I deal with this with my wife all the time. My wife is bougie, a lot more bougie than I'll ever be. So my wife, every time we want to go on vacation, she wants to go to an all-inclusive place. She wants to be catered to.
I've heard, right?
Things, right. And so I don't mind that, but I like to be in the culture of a place. I want to see where people live. I want to eat their food. I don't want to eat the Americanized version of their food. I want to eat their food. Like if there's some toxins in it, I want the toxins too. I want the $2.50 plate that's off the street. That's what I want. I want to feel it. And so we always have to compromise, and we do a mixture. I remember on our honeymoon, we did St. Lucia. And so we did 5 nights in an all-inclusive resort in the very top of the island. Were super nice, adults only, infinity pool. We had butlers coming out to us, crazy stuff. And the second we did only 2 days. I can only negotiate 2 days. Nothing's ever equal in marriage. I got 2 days where we went down south in like a rainforest area where we essentially were living in like a tree house. They had Airbnb and stuff. And the whole time, my wife's complaining, oh, there's a bug that bit me. This happened. I'm like, babe, we are in the wilderness. What do you expect? And she's like, we're never doing this again. And so that was the end of me trying to negotiate part of my vacation. Now all of our vacations are pretty much bougie.
Well, let me tell you, one of the best mornings of my life was driving out of Tiburon.
Yeah.
Because and this is 97, so I have a 280ZX.
Yep.
And I would always take the T-tops off in the morning.
Yep.
To feel that breeze in San Francisco. And as you turn the corner from Tiburon and you're going right into the Golden Gate, it's the morning. So the fog is covering up the entire bay.
Right.
And you can't even see Alcatraz because it's covering up the whole bay. But when you look at the city, it looks like it's sitting on the clouds.
Yeah.
And it's like it was a priceless view. So if anybody ever wants like a great view, mornings in San Francisco,
I'll check that out.
Coming from Tiburon, from Sausalito into the Golden Gate, before early mornings, before the fog has dissipated.
Yep.
You look at, and it is a beautiful view, dude. It is magical. I will say that. That is one of my most memorable mornings of my life is driving into San Francisco in the morning with the fog covering the bay. What a view, dude. What a view. It is. I will say this. Northern California is just gorgeous country, man.
Yeah.
Just gorgeous. It really is. It really is. It's
Really
nice.
nice.
All right. Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolf. Sorry, there was no Dolphins talking this whole
Hey, it's okay. Trust me, we'll have plenty of time to talk Dolphins.
I mean, dude, I tried to come up with something, and like, what am I going to ask you, bro?
Right.
You know what
I mean, it's July 8th.
Is Mostert or Cam, who's going to rush for more yards? Yeah, will Waddle or Tyreek catch more balls? You know,
Right.
I mean, what do you want me to do, bro? There's nothing going on. Okay, sorry, Dolphin Nation.
Hey, the good thing is 2 weeks from now, we'll be talking heavy training camps a few days away.
Exactly.
All the battles, everything, we're full in it. Trust me, I am not going to apologize for these last 2 weeks of.
By the way, we had a great segment here.
We did.
We had a
We
great
had fun.
We
We talked about the Panthers quarterback hell. We talked about the Raiders diversity efforts. We talked about vacation views,
football life, and
yes, exactly,
and the real Miss Nevada.
It's the real Miss Nevada.
It's a complete segment, bro. That's what it's all about.
That's what the people want to hear.
That's it. That's what the people's wants.
Yes.
There we go. Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolf, and of course, catch him doing his thing at the NFL Network. See, I'm not screwing that up anymore. All right. We will catch you next week, my friend. Have a great weekend. Appreciate you.
All right. You too, big dog.
You got it. There you go. That's our KSDT. Very no Miami Dolphins and NFL report.
This has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
There we go. John's like, yeah, she's smoking. She's the hottest president ever. Hey man, listen, I just I'm telling you the way it is, you know. It is what it is. This is a woman is she's talented. I gotta say, gotta give her props. Mad props. Paul Cupertino says 280ZX still my dream car. It's a great car. My two favorite vehicles of all time. The 280ZX and the Acura TSX 2010. And I would still have that car to this day, right this moment, if I did not total it. Okay. Luckily, I didn't get injured. Nothing happened to me whatsoever, which was fantastic. But I regret losing that car. I would still have it right now and still, be waiting for, because I'm not buying another car until I get an electric car. I'm not getting another gas car again. Not doing that anymore. I wanted to do it way before all this. For the last time I got a car, I was thinking of getting an electric car, but we're not there yet as a society. And so I figured, okay, the next go around, I'll wait a few more years. And then the next go around, there'll be stations for charging in more places and it'll be more common and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I kind of held off on that. But yeah, 280ZX and my Acura TSX 2010, just that car was a tank, a TSX. That's one of the best built cars I've ever seen in my life, man. What a great car. And then the 280ZX 1983, that thing is a tank. That inline six is maybe the greatest engine I have ever seen in my life. It'll never die. It's like that. It's like the Bug, the Bug, not the car, but the engine itself. It'll take a beating and a half. That's the one thing. Anybody that owned the 280ZX, you know what I'm talking about. That inline six that's why they don't make that engine anymore. They don't want to make that engine anymore. That thing was too good. They were too smart when they made that inline six. Oh, how many miles do you drive per week? Less now, my brother. A lot less now than I used to because I'm home a lot and I go out. So not as much as I used to, man. But I used to, back in the day, easily 24,000 miles a year. Easy. Not anymore. When I was a reporter and I was out all over the place, yeah. Although for a short time when I was working at 640, I was racking up some miles. And then I told them, yeah, I'm doing the show from my house from here on out. What? I go, you gonna pay for my gas, my tires, and everything else? You want to add for that? Let's go. Let's redo the deal. Oh, okay. I'm doing it from my house. Yeah. So since for a few years now, I haven't been putting up a lot of miles lately. So, Big O, I had a 2010 TSX and I loved it. Bought it at Acura Pembroke Pines. You're a smart man both ways. One for buying at Acura Pembroke Pines and buying a TSX 2010. What an effing amazing car. God, I love that car. I was so pissed that my stupid ass totaled that car. I was glad I didn't get injured, and I was so glad the lady who was so nice, because I ruined, obviously, her month or whatever the hell it takes by the time you got to, replace your car, fix it, or whatever the hell. And I must have apologized to that woman like 80 times, because it was my fault. Just crazy stuff. TSX, RSX, Acuras are, yeah, I know. My wife and my daughter drive the RSX, and I drove the TSX, and I will swear by that TSX for the rest of my life. Oh, you don't need charging stations. Your house is a station. You get an electric car, 250, 300. Yes, you are correct. The only thing is the selection of those cars up to 300 miles or more were, so I kind of held back. So I'm waiting. So when the next, and the money too was it was a little bit, I'm waiting for more cars out. The money goes down. And now with the whole chips thing and all that crap, forget about it. You don't want to buy, you want to wait another year or two before you buy one of those cars so the prices go down. All right. What else do we have here? By the way, I want you to know, Sean, is your girl from Wisconsin? Okay, that's a good thing. Because Wisconsin women, now, I'm not saying all the Wisconsin women. I'm not saying some Wisconsin women. But this Wisconsin woman is not one that you want to be married to or associate with or anything along those lines. But she is from Wisconsin. So I just want to remind you and then read this story. Just in case you run into a woman from Wisconsin, I want you to remember this story. Now, I also want you to remember her name too, because her name is Taylor Shaw Business. And she is 24. She got arraigned in Brown County Circuit Court on Tuesday on charges of first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, and third-degree sexual assault. What happened? Well, she got into a disagreement with her lover, and during relations, well, she severed his head and penis and put it into a bucket. That's right. A criminal complaint accused Shaw Business, don't ever let her get into Shaw Business or your business, of strangling 25-year-old Shad Thyron to death in February at a Green Bay home, sexually abusing his lifeless body and then mutilating the corpse with a serrated bread knife. It takes a lot of strokes. Brown County Sheriff's official said Shaw Business got in his business and removed an electronic monitoring device she wore for an unrelated sex crime just hours before Thyron was killed. A warrant was issued for Shaw Business because she got into somebody else's business, arrested for violating the conditions of her release, but she wasn't located until after the grisly murder was uncovered. Police were called to her home on Stony Brook Lane in Green Bay by a woman who reported finding her son's severed head in the bucket. Officers who responded also found a male organ in the bucket, an upper torso in a storage tote, body fluid, and knives. When people tracked down Shaw Business at another location, she was found
with dry blood on her clothes. During a search of her van, cops discovered a crock pot containing human remains, including legs. Under question, Shah Business allegedly said that the police were going to have fun trying to find all of the organs. The 24-year-old told detectives that she and Thyron had been smoking meth before going to his mother's house and having sex using chains. Shah Business claimed that at one point she had blacked out after she went crazy and proceeded to strangle Thyron. She insisted that she did not mean to kill the man, but enjoyed choking him. All right, so, if somebody says, my name is Shah Business, get your business out, bro, okay? Because that is just, and be careful. Be careful with them Wisconsin women and meth, okay? Just be careful with who you do meth with, period. That's all. And if they say, hey, let's have sex with chains, yeah, that might not be a good idea. I'm just saying. Okay? Don't let Shah Business get in your business, because then your business is dead. And by the way, both your businesses. Okay? Because Blue Chew ain't saving that either. Okay? It might save you now, or you get a free month, but if you deal with Shah Business and she cuts off your business, well, then Blue Chew can't help you out there either. Okay? So for your free month, 1 month supply of Blue Chew, go ahead, go to bluechew.com, use the code Big O. I'm not entertaining anybody with that kind of name. That's good business on your part right there. So what does anybody know about compound crypto? I have no idea. Ask Shah Business. All right, we are out of here. We thank Ira Winderman, Manny Navarro, Omar Kelly, Al Bernstein, baby, the legend, Cameron Wolf. If you missed any of those interviews, they're there for you so you can consume however you want. Make sure you mind your own business and stay away from Shah Business, okay? We thank Sean Stanley. All right. And he's going to stay away from Shah Business, too, on top of all of that. That's for sure. We thank Sean Stanley, who masters this program like no one else. And we thank all of you for tuning in, downloading the show. Thank you all out there. Please smash the like button on your way out. Also on the podcast, smash the like button. Thank you. Don't forget to also subscribe to our other channel, Big O Show Cuts. We need to get that one over 1,000. We will see you. We'll do a little something tomorrow, probably in the afternoon. You all be good out there. Have a great one.